So this is episode 11 of the KCP. Yeah, that's right. I'm going with the abbreviations now because this is episode 11. We've been around long enough to where you guys are tossing around KCP. It's easier to say, so whatever. I'm Pick of the Hut. I'm here with Playing to Win, Thomas Bradius, Smarrgasm, and M2 Dave. And there's going to be no Rio. We thought we were going to have Rio tonight, but it turns out he got busy and there's something going on. Or he's got something going on. I don't know. But I am going to be in on this podcast for about 15 minutes or 20, and then I'm going to let the rest of these guys take it over. I'm going to go do some practicing for NEC. And let's go. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, let me start it off by saying Sonic Boom Brad was doing a tier list project with the matchup chart. And I noticed Aquaman has Cabal's matchup numbers for some reason. And Aquaman has been a subject of debate for a long time. Is he unbeatable? Is he untouchable? Is he the best? One Pig of the Hut has claimed many times that this character is stupid and broken. And he has recently backed players like Wild Cowboy's Aquaman, Theo's Aquaman, Rico Suave's Aquaman. You know, now the thing is, I look at this matchup chart, and Aquaman, while being a top character for sure, this rumor of him being unbeatable, I would like Pig to answer for, because I submit my evidence that I have seen many top players claim that they're going to go to this character and show why he's unbeatable. Wonder Chef was the first one. He dropped the character, went to Black Adam. Michelangelo, while being a good Aquaman player, drops Aquaman for most of his matchups. Goes to Wednesday Night Fights, is going to show us how Aquaman is done, only to play only Green Lantern because he got a bunch of Black Adams and other Green Lantern matchups. So at the first sign of trouble, Michelangelo, he plays two characters. He doesn't like those troublesome matches for Aquaman. As neither did Wonder Chef. We've seen, some of the Arizona guys have picked him up and dropped him, like Morty Seinfeld dropped him for a Nightwing. Rico Suave doesn't really play him anymore, mainly plays Black Adam. Forever King once said, hey, you know what, this character is unbeatable. Don't make me pick him up. But as soon as he thought about picking Aquaman up, he decided to go with Martian Manhunter instead. And we know Forever King plays the matchup, so he obviously sees a better character with better matchups. So he decides to not go to Aquaman. One of the more recent things is Emperor Theo. Wild Cowboy also has a good Aquaman, but, Wild Cowboy, when you see like these Green Lanterns or these other characters that are, that he can just use Sinestro for, he's not going to waste his time going to Aquaman. He's going to pull out Sinestro, Black Adam, so on and so forth. Emperor Theo is the latest victim of the Aquaman trend, who has said that he's going to show the world this character is going places. Yet, we all know Black Adam has been a thorn in Aquaman's side in recent memory, correct? We all agree on this. However, in this version of the game, no indictment against Wonder Chef. I think he'd be a better player if he stuck to one character as opposed to playing, a million. He does have a lot of knowledge. But the very minute he comes across a guy who is not the top of the Black Adam totem pole in this version of the game and loses, what does he do? The same thing every Aquaman player does. Drops him and goes right back to his main character, drops Aquaman, this unbeatable god, after he falls to Black Adam in this version of the game, let alone what would happen in the previous versions of the game. And then he's afraid to use Aquaman against Bones' Catwoman on Wednesday Night Fights. Now, I don't care what happens at some 5-man local house tournament. The bottom line is when the lights were on, he doubted this character that when he thought there was going to be problems, he immediately went to Superman. And my question is, if this character is truly Cabal-like with his matchup numbers, if this character, you got guys like Theo, he scores Scorpion 7-3 and then gets bopped by Scorpion like he doesn't even know how to play the game. And this is no offense to him, but I'm against people scoring a matchup a certain way if they don't really know the fucking matchup. If you don't know how to make the match 7-3, what the fuck are you calling it a 7-3 for?
Well, wait a minute, Tom. Nobody. I think the way that Brad scored the numbers for the chart is he didn't take anybody's numbers into account specifically. All he did was, he in fact those matchup numbers, for example, for Scorpion, they come from slips.
I understand that, but also I've heard Theo say he believes the match is 7-3 despite losing PL.
Okay, well I don't know what he.
Well, people can lose bad matchups.
But
I don't think Theo ever actually put his Aquaman numbers down though.
Well, how do you know? I've heard him say it. I read him say it's a 7-3. He believes it's 7-3 despite losing to him. Now, my point is not he's some Aquaman man. I'm not trying to blow him up here. My whole point is that when you join the list of people that says you're going to prove how this character is so godlike, Aquaman, by this evidence, is actually the most dropped character in the game.
Wait a second. No, he's not. No,
Shut up.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Somebody on this podcast just picked him up, actually.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Okay, but the point is, he's the.
No, not the. Deathstroke is the most dropped character in this game.
Okay, look. Besides Deathstroke, then it's Aquaman. All right. Now,
from patch to patch, on average, Aquaman is probably the most dropped. I'll agree with Tom on that.
Now, my question to Pig of the Hut is, I believe that people pick up Aquaman, and because their local surroundings are not as familiar with him, they get away with murder, which makes the character seem like this god. But how can a character have Cabal-like numbers, and yet people have no confidence in the ability to stick with him as soon as they run into trouble? Is it possible that Aquaman is not as easy and brain dead as everyone thinks once people get used to him?
I think that is 100% true, and I think that's the reason why you see a lot of people dropping the character, because he's not brain dead like Killer Frost, where you can go, yay, slide, okay, Vortex. Aquaman requires a very good player, a player with a very good understanding of footsies, gameplay knowledge, to exploit him the way that he can be exploited. I still truly believe Aquaman is a top 5 character, but you have to earn it with that character. You have to know what you're doing. I mean, that's just kind of my piece on Aquaman. I still think he's very good, but he's not brain dead by any means.
Well, what I want Pig to answer is, does Aquaman deserve Cabal-like matchup numbers?
No, but I can tell you who does.
And who does?
Catwoman. Jesus Christ. Did you see that match? I mean, you cannot stop Cat Dash.
Can't stop it, man.
Can't stop it. Mr. Menudez, I warn you now. Watch out for that pussy at NEC.
You know what? I don't even think it's a 7-3 to be. I think a lot of Aquaman's Kenshi-like numbers will soon become more normal.
You play with that pussy, you wake up the next morning with a little scratchy. You're in trouble.
I mean, I just feel like that, and I've been saying for the long time that everyone likes to pick up Aquaman right away, but as soon as they run into a Green Lantern or a Black Adam or whatever, they always seem to drop the character. I mean, I don't care. I'm only using Theo because he's the most recent one. The next time someone tries it, they'll be the last example. When you don't even have the confidence to pick him against Catwoman because you think, man, the Catwoman player might be on fire tonight, let me go with my main. Who fucking cares if he's on fire? You're supposed to be playing a character that has Cabal matchup numbers. I think Aquaman's a top character. Top 5 is definitely arguable. Top 6 or 7 is definite. But he's not what people think he is. And these are a lot of things that I went through. When my back twos were hitting everybody and nobody was punishing me, it's cool, And to think people still aren't taking advantage of a lot of his holes either.
Well, I'm surprised you don't mention, like playing to win always has the most powerful thing in the game is the vortex, the 50-50 mix-up.
The faith, yes.
But that's one thing Aquaman
Do you agree with that, Bill?
Yes, one of the most powerful things in the game, the way the game is designed, is your ability to put someone in a safe 50-50.
Standing reset, wake up attacks out of the game.
But that's one thing that Aquaman does not have, though. He doesn't even have a safe 50-50 mix. I'm not to mention but he has almost everything else except that. But that just happens to be one of the most powerful things in the game.
Aquaman has no safe 50-50s, and when his 50-50s get blocked, if people know how to fight him, they're going to single-hit launch him. So his trait does not make him safe out of his 50-50s. And Aquaman has a hard time getting up because his wake-up attacks don't have full invincibility. So they're very easy to stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, and back 2 is like 25 frames?
Yes. So...
Yeah, unless you, I don't know, like playing Theo online, I'm just kidding. You should be able to block it on reaction.
Well, what I want to say is that Pig of the Hut has been infamous in this Aquaman movement that he is too good. Is it possible? Can Pig finally admit that maybe perhaps he is a product of ignorance as opposed to really being too good.
I mean, we all know that character. He's potentially like bottom 6. I mean, he's got some problems. You know that. I mean, don't you dare think about throwing out a back 2. Don't ever, because it's easily punishable. I mean, Gamer Blake posted groundbreaking tech today, where every single Trident Rush will now be punished by 5 huge amounts of damage.
By 5 characters.
No, he didn't.
Huge damage.
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that. My point is, my question is, why do people drop this character if he's supposed to have Cabal-like numbers?
Well, I think the numbers are wrong then. I don't know. Well, Smarrgasm, what do you think? What is Aquaman against Black Adam in this version, in your opinion?
I'd have to say it's probably close to even. Like, it took... Like, what the patch did, it took away the whole, like, Black Adam can just harass him full screen, like the guessing game was always in his favor. Now it's kind of like you both have to guess. But, I mean, Aquaman outfootsies him, but if Black Adam ever guesses right, he's doing massive damage. But Aquaman also does really high damage, so, you know, I think it's pretty close to even.
Yeah, I would agree to that. It's pretty close to even now. I think... you know, a lot of his matchups are wrong. He's got a lot of very, very difficult
But Tom,
matchups.
why didn't you post the matchups? Brad wanted you to post the matchups.
Because it's very difficult, because...
Don't say Theo or anything like that. Why
no,
did you
not
post
Theo, but there's this thing that this character is too good, that he's Cabal-like. So to go against that notion is, you know, it's just going to end up being perceived negatively.
Okay, but look, like, could it be that maybe, you know, Pig was just frustrated because he was losing at that time. He didn't know the match. I mean, that can happen.
It's not just Pig in general. A lot of people say
okay, but like, you know, even Playing to Win was complaining about him for a long period of time.
I still complain about him when I use freaking Sinestro, but
the thing is, you know, what they may not realize that, you know, Aquaman has some very difficult matchups. You know, like some matchups that, for example, Sinestro probably destroys Hawkgirl, but Aquaman has to fight for his life for that, you know, because it's just very difficult.
But we agree, well, Dave will say Deathstroke, outside of Deathstroke for Dave, that Aquaman is probably the most dropped character in this game.
Yeah, he probably is. That's because, you know, like we said, so we do agree with you. We're not saying he's... Nobody ever said, except for maybe Pig and a lot of some other people, that he's... Tom, man, come on. Who says that Aquaman is Cabal? Get the hell out of here. Nobody ever said that.
Well, it's because he plays Batman.
He plays Batman, he's salty.
You know what's so funny?
Come on.
But then he had a choice to pick up Aquaman, and he went with Martian Manhunter. And that brings us to the next point.
Because it's
wait,
a lot easier.
I actually heard something about Martian Manhunter. I heard that Martian Manhunter is a bill of goods because he just has to take risks.
Now,
And, I mean, Martian Manhunter might be, I mean, he might be mid-tier, guys. I mean, he has to take all these risks and...
Pig. Who says that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just word on the street.
Was it someone who also said that Scorpion had to take risks and hit you 1,000,000 times?
Let me ask you something.
my head's gonna explode.
Let me ask you something. What does Sinestro? I mean, what can Aquaman do versus Sinestro?
Everything.
Punish everything he can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's one match.
I mean,
Pig, I want to... Who are you quoting? I want to know.
no, I mean about Martian Manhunter. I mean,
Yes.
I heard another podcast say specifically, if Martian Manhunter is on Cabal's level or so good, then why isn't he just running all over the place? Well, I mean, I'm gonna stay calm. I'm gonna troll and just say, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I can't even answer. I don't even want to breathe when I respond.
Okay, well,
it's hard.
Okay, let
Here's
me
my
answer.
opinion on that.
Hold on, let me
Yeah,
answer.
go ahead.
Let me answer.
Wait, I got the perfect answer. Sorry.
Okay.
You remember when I was like running train on every single person in this community, unless they played Cabal for 2.5 years?
I do remember that.
Yeah, I was running train on the whole community. I
Darth
mean,
Vader.
but I gotta
Darth-
tell you, let me tell you guys, Kenshi. Let me tell you about that character. I have to take major risks with that character. He's completely puts himself in complete unsafe situations.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
He's free to
And
cross ups.
He's free to cross ups.
Free to cross ups. I remember
and
that.
I got to tell you, other than me running train on everybody for 2.5 years, I don't understand. That character sucks because no one. I mean, the reason why no one's killing it, making top 8 like I was, is because that character is a bill of goods. I mean, you just have to play it out of your mind apparently to.
That's true.
To
Why don't we
win.
see Kenchi's running wild everywhere?
I didn't see any Kenshis running wild anywhere. I saw Kenshis running the katanas again, mopped up left and right. I'm not going to say the name like it, but I mean, just. Actually, Tom, I actually saw a video of you beating the god of the Kenshi tech, Teef, with Sub-Zero, which is, what, 9-1 matchup, 8-2 matchup?
That's true.
How do you do it?
Well, what's funny is when
That's
I
how
won
you
that
make
match,
Aquaman. Dude, that's it. That's how you make Aquaman. Aquaman look so good. There's my answer. So the whole question you had at the beginning, I mean, it's not Aquaman. It's a man of your caliber that can make Sub-Zero, the man of ice, in a 1-9 matchup, win 2-0.
at that time they said that match was 5-5.
Oh my god.
Let me say this.
Does no one remember the Kenshi matchup part before
I
put
remember.
that fucking
I
blindfold
remember.
on?
Oh,
It
give me
was
some
like-
credit here.
It
Give me
was
some
like
credit.
a 4-6 to Baraka. I mean, gets him in the corner. We just can't get out.
Hold on. Give me some
Striker's
credit
5-5. Trades with bullets.
I remember this. Like, give me some credit. My first bootleg tier list of my matchup chart, I had Kenshi top 2, and you called me and said, "Why do you say that?" You were like, "Because I was thinking the same thing." I mean, myself and Peg were the first 2 people on the Kenshi wagon, and everybody else were like, "He's free to cross ups, yada yada yada." And then when people started getting destroyed, they were like, "Oh, Kenshi's too good." And if Peg were to say, "I'm the only one doing it," they don't want to hear that. They were so, "Oh, I don't want to hear it." And
I
now
have
the
a funny one when Tom's done.
And now the same argument for Martian Manhunter. This is my thing about Martian Manhunter. Is he top 2, top 3, top 1? Probably so. I can't see him being out of the top 3. But to say, why isn't he running wild when he's only been available for 2 majors, both of which Superman, who probably blows out 90% of the cast, was there. He has yet to be played at a major post-patch. So it's very difficult to compare any character without any kind of major tournaments going forward. At this point in the game, it's almost like what happened before this point never happened. And now we actually start going forward with the game.
There is only one way to beat. There's only one person in this community right now, I think, that has a real legit shot at beating Rio, and that's Forever King. Because his Batman is smothering. There is only one way to beat a legit Martian Manhunter, and that's to rush him the frick down. That's it. That's it. He literally beats every zoning character in this game 7-3, depending on the stage, 8-2, and if he has a life lead, 8-2, easy, free. People don't understand that the threat, just the threat of the overhead teleport is enough to freeze counter zoning. You cannot play a zoning game against Martian Manhunter at all. He's free to just go crazy with pillars and orbs. There's only one character in the game, I believe, that can punish pillars, and that's Raven. But for me personally, I had to learn Aquaman. I had to do it. If I want to still compete and be competitive in this game, for me to have a shot at a legit Martian Manhunter, I had to learn a different character. Which for me, I'm a character loyalist. I want to use one character, and it just burns my skin to know that I can put in hours, days, hundreds of matchups versus character, and no matter what I do, I cannot adapt. I cannot react. I cannot change anything about Martian Manhunter. I don't know.
Well, here, look, where's this misinformation coming from? It's coming from KTP. Currently, KTP is the largest source of misinformation in the fighting game community. I've never seen anything like this, and I've been part of it for like 10 years. These guys, Slips and 60-Bit, constantly pull shit out of their asses, and it's annoying. I don't care that they attack me personally on every show, but I care when they say stuff like, Martian Manhunter is not that good, blah blah blah. We don't know anything about the tournament, dude. But you guys cried about Vanilla Deathstroke, and you know what Deathstroke placed? The highest placing Vanilla Deathstroke was J360. He placed 13th, I think, in Civil War, which is I think the tournament that Tom Brady won.
No, Rio won that.
Well, then it might have been the other one. So, but here's the point.
Testers among.
Constant misinformation. Deathstroke is top 10. Scorpion is bottom 5, not that good anymore. Scorpion was fine from the beginning. It's like constant misinformation. It's just ridiculous from these guys.
Well, I'll say this. I love 16-bit. I love celebs. I consider them friends. I think they're great people. They're great guys. My thing is this. I just really don't think that they have ever seen or witnessed what we are going to see at NEC and the future. Now, I'll say you don't see it at NEC. I don't want to hear this, oh, where was Martian Manhunter? I don't want to hear that. Here's the deal. It doesn't change the fact this character is going to run train. I'm telling you, it's going to run train. And just, you guys will see, blah, 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 blah. I took my early Kenshi to a tournament and got 7th. I used him for one match and actually lost.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's true.
Katana.
No. I never lost to that blue bitch. Never.
Didn't CDB
No, I used Melina.
Oh, you didn't use Kenshi that time.
No, right. I used Kenshi against Ryu.
No.
Hey,
yeah, it was weird.
Pig, 2 questions.
What's up?
To quote Rio real quick, I wanted to hear what your thoughts on this were. And I quote Rio, who we all know is one of the best players in the history of MK period. He has a question for the community. If Melina's dive kick was safe, launched, and lead to 40% and then vortexes, how good would Melina have been in Mortal Kombat 9?
Yeah, that sums it up. That would have been a great character to learn. I would have used her for every matchup.
And second question is, of all these people downplaying Martian Manhunter, how many of them do you think have actually played a long set versus Rebello or Rio at this point?
0.
Yeah.
0. I know that for a fact. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like, I get messages all the time. I know Dave does too. And I got one the other day on PS3 and it was like, oh, so I heard if I'm supposed to play Zod, I got to play the real Zod, this and that. And some people say that they're nice and cool about it, but this guy was a fucking asshole. He was like, I hear Deathmaze blows you up. I'm like, I didn't even play that fucking idiot. Like, I didn't play the guy. I'm so sick of YouTube people on my YouTube going, Deathmaze rocks, bro. Look at his fucking combo videos. I'm like, well, combo videos aren't fundamentals, bro. You're going to get your ass blown up, bro. It's just so stupid. Anyway, it's those little cronies that come at me, and I end up blowing them up. And but my whole point is, I know, Rio says it, you got to play me. Dave says it, you got to play me. I say you got to play me. Like, you have to play the best of the best. You just can't play your dude down the street, Martian Manhunter. You can't play my Martian Manhunter. You can't play anyone's. You have to play the best of the
exactly.
best. Really understand.
Who's invested in the character. That's what you have to play. Like, this is not about personal with 16-bit. Obviously he's a great player, and as it slips, he's a legend in the tech community. But I just unless it happens to them, they live in a bubble. Unless they fight a Martian Manhunter, and we say something else, then it obviously can't be true. They're always right, we're always wrong. It's the same thing with Scorpion, exactly what happened. No, it's the same thing with Martian Manhunter. We're not saying he should be banned, we're not saying he should be nerfed. We're just saying this character's top 3, possibly top 2.
Yeah, I'm not saying nerf ban, I'm not saying this, that.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
we're
saying,
not saying, it's not.
We're not saying anything. I'm just saying, you guys better open your fucking eyes, because this character is number one. There's a reason why everyone comes onto every single podcast, this podcast, your podcast, everyone's podcast, and they're like, and you ask, okay, who's top 5? First word out of their mouth is MMH. Every time.
My only problem with it is like I play Black Adam, so everyone cried about the dive kick. It launches, it's plus on block, whatever, if you meter burn it, and so the dive kick gets nerfed, and for Black Adam's dive kick to launch, it has to be meter burn. There's no able to confirm it.
Right.
With Martians, it launches meterless, instantly.
The move,
and it's safe versus most of the cast.
it ignores risk reward.
Yeah.
That move completely ignores risk reward because what is the risk for using it? I mean, if you're stupid with it and predictable, you're going to eat meter burn back threes all day. But
Right.
if you mix it up, you're playing footsies and you use it sparingly, where is the risk? Where's the risk?
Well, I'll
And
say this. I have probably the most experience against Martian Manhunter over anyone. I was there when he was built from the ground up, playing with Rio constantly. And I will say this about Martian Manhunter. I do very well against him, but what I basically do is hold back across the screen and let him tee off on me. And just catch him with from the deep when he does orbs, check him with from the deep whenever I block his pillars. I could check him and attempt to guess right in the post up teleport guessing game. But I basically let him tee off on me. I turn into a statue. And while I do well with it, simply because Martian cannot get up against Aquaman, so that's a huge plus that when he gets knocked down. But for every other character that has to sit there and get teed off on, oh, and by the way, when you hit him, he's just going to get up safe anyway. I don't know what you would do about that. It's definitely frustrating. It's something I've learned to deal with, and I mean, again, it's just it makes it very difficult for me to say whether a character that I use wins the match, or it's even, or just I happen to be very fortunate in making good reads on that particular day.
Yeah.
But
Have you played Rio or Rebello, Tom? Have you played a long set with Rebello recently?
I played Rebello's Martian Manhunter once, and
When was that?
It was one game, and he had like 15% health, and I must have hit him 4 times and dropped the combo every time because the connection is so bad when I play him. And then I was like, I can't anymore, Rebello. I'm sorry, man. I try to put up with it with your Green Lantern, but I can't. Rebello's trait is that his connection turns him into Aquaman. He can, you know. And
I can't argue with that because he is in Canada, and I could tell you that I play him a lot, and the connection is worse than a lot of people I ever play. So
yeah, I mean, it's just very difficult. I have to be. There are situations where I'm able to seriously do stuff, especially the Green Lantern, and with Rebello, I have to sit there and wait for him to do something so I can catch it. It makes it very difficult. I'm sure his Green Lantern's good. I'm sure his Martian's very good. It's just very difficult for me to gauge the matchup when playing him simply because he's playing 2 characters that already control the pace. So when you take away my ability to do something when I have to stand still extra long, and then when I finally get you, I still don't have. I can't tell you how many times I'll drop a combo on Rebello. He'll wake up attacking me and go 6-4, bro. I'm like, yeah, Rebello, yeah, 6-4, bro.
Go ahead, Smart.
My main problem, one of my main problems with Martian is just it feels like there's a random factor to him. Like sometimes the teleport will just do stuff like cross up.
Yeah.
Like, and then on top of the priority that it was given, it's just like if you were in the air at some point and like your character has a long jump or something like that, or you're just jumping to like try to get out of the way or something, you will get murdered by that thing. And it's
how's the matchup for Black Adam?
I don't think it's like. I think it's probably close to even. Black Adam just can't do his normal stuff where he just kind of like sits there and like wants to chuck stuff. He just kind of tries to like play his game, and like you just have to react to his zoning better and then get in.
I think it wouldn't be so bad if he actually landed on the spot you were at when he executes the move.
Yeah, like, it tracks really well.
Yeah, like when it lands, when he goes off the screen, it lands on where you are. If it was bound to go to where you were, kind of like Doomsday's, boulder, where you could just dash and you avoided just by moving.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be so bad. It's just that
it's got
it.
Go ahead.
It's got a huge splash box. I mean,
especially if you try to backdash. I mean, you pretty much can't backdash ever.
Yeah, you can't.
Pig and I are fortunate because Zod actually has one of the few forward dashes where you can actually, forward dash it, and then juggle with back 3. But even then, it's still spammable. It's like still like it won't stop them from abusing it.
Like basically, I'll just give the viewers some tips. Basically, if you play Flash, Black Adam, Aquaman, Zod, Lex can do this really well. Actually, he's got something really dirty about it. What you can do is you can basically, when you see the teleport, wait till the second he's off the screen, then forward dash, and he will completely whiff, and he'll be at minus 39. And then you can get a clean back 3 punish. Now, what that means for Flash is he gets like a 55% 1 meter punish. Zod can get, I mean, I'm going to get 40 with Zod, but you can get 50. I'm just not going to go for the 50 because I'm going to fuck it up every time.
Yeah.
and get like 11.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'm going to get the 40. 10-10 roll, baby, and that's it. I think, Aquaman can get like 40, 44,
45,
balance
yeah.
cancel.
Yeah, 45.
Yeah, 45.
And, Black Adam can get his usual, 40, 45 damage. So if you do that once to a Martian Manhunter player, you make him whip that teleport, you put 40 to 50 off his life, maybe flash 55, that fucker is going to think twice about teleporting again like that. Now, here's what's going to happen. You then have it in his head that you can dash under his teleport clean for back 3 punish, you can back 3 meter burn punish, or you can do nothing just in case he does the normal teleport. So there's the meta right there. The meta just evolves to that right there. So when you put that out in the open, then it slows the Martian down, and then he's going to start trying to zone you more to make you, he's zoning you more just to kind of gain some kind of read on you in the longer term. But that's basically how the match happens. But if you don't meter burn back 3, if you don't forward dash an overhead teleport, or if you just get hit by every fucking thing, then he's got. I mean, if I was playing Martian against someone like that, I'd be like, well, I got no reason.
Time to go nuts.
Yeah, time to go nuts, guys. I mean, obviously this guy is fearing for his life, so I'm just going to go nuts. You've got to show him. It's like the bully. It's like Cabal. That's what I said about Cabal. You've got to punch him in the mouth first and get right in front of his face and say, "Oh, punch me, bitch." That's what you got to do to Martian Manhunter. That's exactly the attitude you have to have.
But he is going to dictate. But he does dictate.
He will Cabal dictate. I mean, I understand, but
Very
you
true.
have to. That jock asshole in high school dictates, but you got to get in his face. That's how Martian Manhunter is. You've got to show him, bitch, this ain't going to be free, and you've got to make it hard for him.
You got to rush him down.
Yeah, that's basically how your attitude has to be against a character like that. And sure, you can say, well, if you rush down and do down one grab, well, there's, be smart. Don't be a complete dumbass. Just start jumping everywhere and going nuts at him. But just be aggressive. Don't show him fear. Is what I'm saying. You show him fear. That's where Martian Manhunter just open up left and right. That's my take on Martian.
Well, let's talk about NEC a little bit.
Tom. So how do you think Theo will do now, coming off his loss to the number 1 Catwoman, possibly top 3 character, Crazy Bone?
I mean, I think Theo will be fine.
I'm gonna warn you right now, Tom. Crazy Bone's gonna be at EC.
I mean, I'm sure he will. I'm Darth Vader to that bitch. All right, I'll tell you that now. All right. No, I think Theo will be fine. I think it's absolutely ridiculous when training for a major to put down your best character to prove a point. You're going to this major. You're not going to run into Wonder Chef. You're running into Rico Suave. That is not the guy you want to say, I'm going to shock the world. You don't do that. You pick your best and you win. Because the only person getting shocked there is you. And if you try some funny shit and you go home, you will never hear the end of it. All the Wednesday night fights in the world won't make up for that. You only have this one opportunity, because it's very difficult. I understand most of the tournaments are on this side of the country. So for someone like Theo, we all know it's expensive to come out here to go to tournaments. It's definitely not cheap to travel. To come out here and not give yourself the best chance to win because you want to prove a point, I think is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's all fun and good when you want to troll at your Wednesday night fight stream. That's fine. It only costs you the gas money to get there. When you fly across the country, and I believe Theo has a legitimate chance to place in the top or win this tournament, I think you owe it to yourself to give yourself the best chance possible. And I think since you like 99.999% of the matchups as Superman, I suggest you play 99.999% of the matches as Superman.
Tom, I don't think I don't think he was going to do anything else anyway. He never said he was going to use Aquaman. He said
Well, I don't
he said he was going to
understand.
use Aquaman for maybe one matchup, and that's Batgirl.
I
That's
think
true,
he's
but
more worried about proving that Superman is
Yeah.
still good.
yeah, I
I
mean
don't
his
think
Superman's very good.
No, but I'm just saying he's never. I don't think he was ever going to use Aquaman, just
I mean,
Aquaman that he's
Theo's
seeing.
very young as well. He's very young, so who knows the kind of shit that young people do? God knows I don't understand half of the shit I did when I was young. So, I mean, he's young, so he may get caught up in that. I'm not sure, but I think if he mainly plays Superman, he'll be fine. Using Aquaman is fine. Use Aquaman for what you built him for. He obviously didn't build Aquaman for Black Adam. He's on the East Coast. He's going to run into a lot of Green Lanterns. That's not the time to test your Aquaman. I promise you that. So I think, as long as he uses Aquaman for what he built him for, like, hey, I don't like him for Batgirl or so on and so forth, that's fine. But that being said, you have to have the courage of your convictions. People like Sonic Fox, their Batgirl isn't so easy that you're going to mop them up because you play Aquaman.
Right.
If you go down, how many times do we see this? Somebody has a counter pick, they lose the first game, then they abandon their counter pick and then still lose. You see what I'm saying? I mean, if that's you have to be resolute. You have to have your mind made up. If that's what you made him for, use him for what you made him for. And when it's not what you made him for, go with what you know. I think as long as he does that, plays Aquaman for the matches he made him for, plays Superman for the matches he's more comfortable in, I don't see any reason why he doesn't do well.
That's what I'm doing, though.
I don't care.
Which other East or West Coast player is going to NEC?
Theo, can you comment on that? What West Coast players are coming?
I'm going. Slayer's going. Crazy. Sonic Boom Brad is very likely going.
Okay.
And then one of our Deathstroke players, Cash, is going. And then Blind Ducky's going.
Steve's going too, isn't he?
Tom, say hi to Theo. He loves you.
Hi,
Tom.
Theo. I'll play in 2014, I guess.
Hold on, Theo, hold on a minute. I only have one problem with you, man. What's up with back twos online, dude? What's up with that?
Dude, they're not that hard to block online.
Are you kidding me?
Spoken like a true online player. God, I hate that shit.
You know what's even harder to block
God.
online? Back to scoop. That shit was an infinite day one.
Back to school.
Back to scoop with Aquaman. It was
You couldn't-
ridiculous
you
online the
couldn't
first 2
transition.
weeks.
To low block
do
that
anything.
online. Yeah.
Well,
My-
Theo, what are your expectations, man? What do you think? How do you think you're gonna do?
At NEC?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's only like 10 days away, so I guess we'll just find out.
Well, how can you not be so sure? I mean, you want probably one of the best Injustice players out right now. I mean, don't you think, top for you, for player of your caliber, probably top 8 at the very, very least, right?
I mean, of course, I'm not going there to lose, so it's great for me to say that. Yeah, I'm pumping myself up to win it. But I mean, there's always the bracketology. There's always just how I'm playing that day.
Yeah,
So, I
because if there's a Sinestro in your pool, I mean, Superman really struggles versus him. If by chance there is a Sinestro in your pool, because there will only be one there.
I mean, I think I'm definitely anxious. I haven't seen Crazy since testing, so I'm definitely anxious to see Bone again.
Tom, can you talk about the thing that you did to Crazy Bone during testing?
So during testing,
Can you do?
Doomsday,
I want Crazy to relive this.
I was doing like 90% damage with Doomsday, and here's Bone playing Catwoman. So one day, on the big screen in the room, I put me and Bone up there. And Bone and that poor kitty, all you kept seeing is Doomsday smash this poor kitty. And I'm sitting there going, here you go, Bone, here. Kitty, 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 kitty. And Bone,
he was actually up in his face with acting like he had a can of food in his hand. He was going, come here, buddy, come in. And literally like trying to feed him in his mouth. Like, here, little buddy.
And Bone told me, fuck that. I'm not playing this cat when the game comes out. I'm playing a top tier character. Bone.
Okay, the reason why I bring it up, dude, if you guys play in polls and Crazy Bone beats you, he should just dump a full bag of cat food on your head.
Well, it's kind of hard to say that because I might actually be winning the last tournament of the night, which means it gives me the last laugh. So it's very difficult to have the last laugh on me in this tournament.
I'm just saying, it's funny that you guys actually have potential to play again.
It was just funny because poor Bone's sitting there getting hit by 90% combos, and the look on his face is like, "This sucks."
Well, I'm pretty sure shoulder was like plus 15 or something back then. Yeah.
The regular one.
The Venom was like plus 15.
Oh my God! Yeah. You were telling me about that. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I think all those West Coast guys will do well. My question to Theo is, why is it that I can't get any games with West Coast people when I'm on the West Coast? What is the deal with that?
Are you only referring to me, or who else are you referring to?
Well, I mean, I was out there playing KI, and I hadn't played in a couple of weeks, so I said, Rip, I'll play one set with Theo. I was expecting a long set because I'm like, he plays Pig and these guys 50, 60 games, get me back into Injustice after, several games. And then it was like a very little time, and I was like, well, this sucks. I'm playing KI all the time, and Injustice feels kind of weird for me right now. But then also that Nightwing player, Sonic Boom Brad, they had hit me up and they said, give me your gamer tag, and so we can go ahead and friend request you, and then if you have some time. So one day before I left, I signed on really late, and there was no request at all. So I was like, what the fuck? These guys, man. And then they were like, we heard rumors you had left Cali. What is this, the fucking Inquirer magazine? Rumors I had left Cali? There are rumors on the street that Tom Brady had left California? What are you, stupid? It was just... So what is it with that, though? I mean, do you guys... I understand you play online a lot, but those guys, Sonic Boom Brad and other people, are they not as big of online players for the most part? Do they train offline mostly, or what is it?
Sonic Boom Brad plays on Xbox Live, but then he's one of those guys that just despises online in general. So
I like him more already.
Yeah, so I really can't speak for him. I didn't even know you tried to get games with him.
Yeah, so and Blind Ducky, I have to blow up Blind Ducky very quickly. I love Blind Ducky.
Ducky wants to blow you up about this because he said you were 20 minutes from his house for 3 weeks.
First of all, I'm working 22-hour days. I'm working 22-hour days. In those 2 hours, I'm not going to be on the couch at Blind Ducky's house for the 2 hours that I have to sleep. And I wish I was joking. Most of those days were 20 to 22 hours. It was unreal to get this done.
Get paid.
But it was unreal. It was unreal to get this done. So I didn't really have that kind of time. I figured maybe I could get like an online. I was thinking if they did like an offline session, maybe I could sneak out for like an hour and join their session. But none of those guys ever contacted me again. They never tried to call me. They don't have my number, but they never tried to reach out. They could have PM'd me on TYM. Hey, we have a local gathering.
Wait. Well, one guy did. Talk about that event.
The tournament that Marvez went to?
Yeah.
Marvez went there, and Marvez was trying to get a hold of me to get some games, but the problem was we were behind schedule. So for me to clear a whole day to go to a tournament was just, it just wasn't possible. And Marvez showed up. Marvez won. Congratulations to him. But Ducky and Wound Cowboy, they weren't there. So even if I did show up last second, they wouldn't even been there. I would have gone there. And it would have been like, waka waka, thanks for coming. So, but I would have still, if I had the time, I would have gone just for Marvez. I've known Marvez for years, so I would have gone just for that.
Let me ask Theo this question. Theo, you played me, you and I have played, I don't know, like 50, 60 games. You and I play for a long time sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You play same thing with Pig. But why don't you show the same respect to Tom? I just don't understand. Like, you're a nice guy in the community. Why don't you play Tom for a long time? That's one thing I don't understand.
I just don't want Tom to download me, that's all.
So you're saying is you're afraid if you play in a tournament, you're so afraid that he's going to download you so he could beat you at a tournament. Is that it? I mean, if that's how you feel, just say it. I mean,
Can I say something, Mario? I think that comment Theo just made is a trait of a player who is not very confident in his play. Tom and I played the other couple of weeks ago, and we literally played 100 straight games, 100 games. I am confident in my ability to adapt, react, to change up my gameplay. I don't play a player as great as Tom and go, I don't want him to download me, because I have the confidence to know in longer sets, it's going to make me stronger as a player. I'm going to get better reads on him. So to have that attitude that I'm not going to play this guy because I don't want him to get a read on me or download me is just, in my opinion, a trait of like a player that's just not very confident. I think that's kind of a cop-out, Theo. Like, I don't know you personally, man, but that's just, eh.
I don't know.
Theo, how do you respond to that?
I mean, if that's the way you want to put it, then so be it. But that's just my game plan for certain players or certain characters.
Okay.
So then why do you play Mario in long sets? And are you just not as afraid of those guys as you are Bill? Like, what?
No, they're all great players, but then Pig and M2 Dave are my only two sources of Zod experience, since Chef hardly plays the character anymore.
But Pig, are you still here? You're still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
But okay, but even with you, man, why don't you play? Why don't you fight Tom?
I'll play Tom any day, any hour this week or next week.
Go right now.
No, seriously.
Tom, you want to dip out and go play like the first to 2, first to 3, and then come back?
And see what happens. Yeah.
No, because Tom tells
I'm
me,
down.
always tells me, Dave, why isn't Pig, fighting? I was like, man, I don't know. I mean,
Tom,
I don't know.
Tom, play right now. I'll play tomorrow. Play Thursday. I'll after I cut the turkey Thursday, I'll pop it in at 2:00.
Pop it in, brother. Pop it in. No, I mean, my thing is that, first of all, let me just finish as a Blind Ducky here, because I need to get this off my chest, because I don't like how Wound Cowboy and Blind Ducky show me such disrespect. Blind Ducky literally said he despised, first of all, Wound Cowboy and Blind Ducky blow me up for avoiding them because I'm working on Killer Instinct. Oh, what a scumbag I am for working and avoiding you while I'm working on Killer Instinct. So that's one. Two, I probably could have definitely gotten some online games with them. But Blind Ducky obviously says I'm not going to play someone online who's 20 minutes away. And online sucks. Blind Ducky says online sucks when it comes to playing someone 20 minutes away, yet publicly blows me up for not playing him when I'm 3,000 miles away. So he won't play me online when I'm 20 minutes away, but he'll play me when I'm 3,000 miles away. And then Wound Cowboy, who backs Blind Ducky as far as online doesn't mean anything when he got blown up in that thread, these Raven players blew him up, yells at me, blows me up for ducking him. I'm tired of you ducking me and Blind Ducky. It's absolutely ridiculous, to be such disrespect when I'm working 22-hour days and to be accused of ducking you fucks when I'm working 24-hour days. Wound Cowboy, Blind Ducky, both great players. I have the highest respect for them. It's just unfortunate that they would stoop to that level and not show me the same respect and hold me in the same regard.
Well, I think actually, I can't even believe you're talking about that. I think Wound Cowboy disrespected you more than anybody else when he said that he's going to beat you in a 7-3 matchup in any fighting game that you guys play.
Hey, Wound Cowboy, I'll tell you what, Wound Cowboy, I'll gladly play him, Sinestro versus Aquaman, anytime. I would love to play him in the match in general, just sit there and play with him in the match. That's fun. And since he'll beat me in any game, I'm looking forward to kicking the shit out of him in Killer Instinct if he even has the balls to pick up the stick.
Hey, Theo, I have a question, dude.
Yeah.
So, and let's be honest here, because I was telling M2 Dave this earlier when we were playing offline. Did you really only play Tom because you knew that if you quit, you would get under his skin? Do you do what you do to Tom because you know you'll get a rise out of him? Is that the real reason that you limited your games and you say the stuff you say? Because you know that Tom, and I love you, man, but is very easily what's the word I'm looking for here?
Trolled.
Yeah.
Excitable.
Excitable. Is that what's going on here, Theo?
No, because I never really knew Tom
Okay.
personally at all before that set. I only exchanged like 2 words with him before that set, so I had no idea he would react like that.
Well, I was just surprised because it's not what I expected. It's just not what I expected. I mean, the funny thing for me, being to this community, it's a lot like what happens at Primo. There are some days when I'm really talkative, and people will make comments how talkative I am, but then the other rest of the week I don't talk at all, and then they beg me to be talkative again. So it's like, wait a minute. Like, for example, the community, they don't like, they ask me to be a certain way, but yet they praise every single quote that I come up with when I'm in Tom Brady mode. And they're like, oh, we love it. We want more of it. And then they're like, well, don't do that anymore. You probably shouldn't do that. Oh, yes, do it. We want more of it. It's like, I'm a very passionate guy. The thing is, like, it's that games are different for me because I come from sports. And in sports, athletes are not such shitheads to each other. They are, but not to the point where they actually start calling each other bad athletes and they have no business being in the NFL or the NBA. You'll never hear that out of any of their mouth.
Whoa, what sport did you play?
I have never heard.
I've heard that all the time.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I used to play safety.
Like,
and,
there was an article on ESPN this morning where, oh, wait, no. He wasn't calling RG3 bad. He was saying RG3 was still injured and shouldn't be on the field because he's playing like shit.
But exactly. But when has a professional athlete said that another professional athlete has no business being in the NFL and should be fired?
I mean, not fired, not that kind of stuff. I mean, that's a little different.
Exactly.
Okay. No, but I mean, like, trash talking? Oh, dude.
Trash talking is fine, but
it's like...
I think there's kind of, like, an understood thing there where, like, with them, since they're, like, a higher level of, like, outing, I guess, like, they're under the microscope more. You just don't say that stuff.
You don't. And the thing that bothered me is, like, I make the comment with Ron Cowboy because I have never heard an arrogant statement more arrogant than saying, I will beat someone in any game, in any matchup. There are games he doesn't even play that I do that I'm very good at. And he's literally saying, I'll beat you in those games too without me playing it. That is not a comment that I expect for someone that I look at Ron Cowboy as being as humble as he is. And even though I know he doesn't play Killer Instinct, so I don't mean anything by kicking his ass in Killer Instinct. He doesn't even play the fucking game. I don't want to play him in something he doesn't play. But I just found that very rude, that why would you not want to sit down and play me? I played a Sinestro with Aquaman. We only played 5 games. They were great games, very close matches. I wish I could play more, but I can't seem to get a hold of him to play him. I mean, and it's like, why you would have that kind of disrespect when I only see him as just a great player. I just don't understand. Simply because you think I'm ducking your friend Blind Ducky, who won't even play me online 20 minutes away, but wants to play me when I'm 3,000 miles away. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, why do you think he would say that though? Like, we all know he's one of the most humble player in the community. I just don't understand why he would say that. That's what I don't.
He told me that he was tired of me ducking Blind Ducky and him using West Coast connection as a fraudulent excuse. And I didn't have 360 back then.
Yeah.
And we know how PS3 does East to West Coast. So I didn't want to play him East to West Coast. And Blind Ducky only has 1 bar East to West Coast. And I didn't even know it was Blind Ducky when he challenged me. I saw 1 bar and I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Did West Coast switch to Xbox, Theo? Thought I was reading something about that.
They're gonna have Xbox at Wednesday Night Fight this week.
Yeah, because most majors are going to be using Xbox. So
yeah,
I don't know how you guys like. I played on. I have a PSN account and I go on there every once in a while. And dude, it is just
it's bad,
unbearable, man. Like in ranked, literally, and I'm not even exaggerating to make a point. Every other game I play, they pull. Not saying that doesn't happen on Xbox, but people pull. They don't finish matches. The connection is absolutely horrendous.
I'll give you that. Xbox Live is definitely better. And I said I was wrong about that. But dude, the competition on Xbox Live, are you kidding me?
Well, at least the connection's
good. It's a complete
good.
joke.
Yeah.
I'm fighting people who have like level 90. They don't even know how to block.
That's because they put their controller on turbo and let it sit overnight training mode. So
jumping off of the snow globe and Atlantis.
Exactly, with that, right.
I was so disappointed. Like, unless I'm finding, Rebello, Boom Cowboy, people like that, I'm just wasting my time. These people are so bad. At least with, like, 80, 90 on PSN, they know the basic stuff, I would say. They're not bad players.
That's because they hit you with every high-low mix-up because you can't freaking block it. You have.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
I do that to you, Dave.
What was
You
that?
were, yeah,
I do that to you,
Dave, you were just saying that to me tonight.
No, but that's West Coast. We understand that. We all know that Theo's a lag abuser, but I'm just kidding.
He is definitely a fraud.
I mean,
Yes, a lag abuser.
I think the overall quality of play is better, but the thing is, if you're going online to play the average server guys, I mean, the competition is with the top players that you know. And the fact that
exactly.
Xbox Live is the only way that I get to play guys from the West Coast and overseas. I just can't do it on PSN. The connection is that bad, which is why I was upset with when it blew me up, because I'm like, I didn't have Xbox Live, so I couldn't really play around Cowboy. I didn't know it was Blind Ducky. I wasn't intentionally ducking anybody. And for him to blow somebody up over something like that, over online, is just a total lack of respect. And I was, so again, Mr. Cowboy, I hold you in the highest regard, and it's just unfortunate you don't do the same for me.
Well, hopefully, we can have him on the show sometime, and he can elaborate, what he said.
But I would like to play him a nice long set with Sinestro. Not 5 games, not first to 10 and see you next month. I would like to, actually play him a nice long set. But I have a question for Theo, who's out there at Wednesday Night Fights. Now, the Wednesday Night Fight scene has obviously kind of faded off a little bit, but you guys have a lot of new players coming out, which is always good for your local scene.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's the local scene like right now compared to what it was before? I mean, why are guys not playing as much? Like, what's the feedback from that?
Well, which guys are not playing as much?
I mean, like the other guys, like the Tekken guys, they show up, but they don't want to play anymore. Like, what's your read on them? Like, what do they say about that? Like, why don't they want to enter Injustice anymore? They're already there. Why not enter?
Well, I mean, isn't that pretty much a pattern for almost all fighting games, where it first comes out at Wednesday Night Fights,
2 weeks,
almost everybody plays it, and then the majority of the players drop the game, and then the ones that stuck with it and got results with it stick with the game.
But I mean, like Street Fighter, they don't have that problem. Tekken, at least, Rip goes there, he'll still enter Tekken. He'll enter KI and he'll enter Tekken. Aris will enter probably KI as well and Tekken. But,
but I mean, that was the same for Mortal Kombat. Like when it first came out, Rip entered, Aris entered, and then that sort of faded off, and then the players that liked the game stayed with the game. I think with Mortal Kombat, they had legitimate gripes. They had things where they say, you know what? And Dave makes a good point as well when he says things like, he can understand how people quit. When you can't even do enhanced move without losing your bar and not even getting the move, it makes people not want to play the game anymore. They say, this mechanic doesn't work right. So when someone says, I don't want to play a game where the mechanics don't work properly, I can understand that. But a game like Injustice, which I think is more well done, it doesn't have those kind of problems. It's infinitely more balanced. I think it's a more in-depth game. Why do you think it's not holding players' attention as much? I'm only going to speak for Aris, since he's the one great player that we had that dropped the game.
Yeah.
I think what it is since he comes from Tekken, which is a game where a lot of it revolves around Okazemi, I think when the Wake Up buff came out, where it was easier to do Wake Up attacks, that just totally... Yeah, that just drove him nuts. And
but he spammed.
I think the exact same thing happened to him in MK9, because I remember him talking about it when he dropped MK, because they did buff like kind of a similar thing in MK at one point.
But he was a Deathstroke player, I mean, and he honestly...
What am I saying? I should have never brought up Aris.
No. I'm saying... Here's the thing, though. He spammed... He had no Okizema game anyway, so why is he complaining about it? He spammed guns a lot, for obvious reasons, but I just don't see the connection.
I mean, I'm not sure.
I
but,
think he quit. I think he quit because Deathstroke went from top 5 to mid. That's why he quit.
For Rip, I think it was also the constant patching, because earlier this week, I think it was, he was talking about Superman on Twitter, and like he was looking back in Injustice, I think. And it kind of bothered him.
He posted on Twitter about Superman?
Yeah, he said that Superman was over nerfed.
What day did he say that on? Because my last day there, I played a nice set with Rip. What day? What day?
Hold
what
on,
day was
I'll see if I can go find it.
that? No, that's all right.
It wasn't. It was a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it was like the Friday that I left. I played Rip, and Rip was like,
Let me-
"Superman, too hard."
I mean,
Let
as
me,
far as
Go ahead.
as far as the top players at Wednesday Night Fight goes, the 99% of the top players at launch are still the top players now. We still have Tyrant, we still have Legend, we still have Crazy. I mean, we still have Chef, we still have Godspeed. They're still at the top of their game, so nothing really changed for who our best players are besides Eris.
It's just
Can I-
unfortunate because guys like Rip and Eris, I have a lot of respect for, and they're really high level players, and I think those guys sticking with the game gives our game a little more validity,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess for Rip, the Superman nerfs got to him, and then Eris, I mean, he just despises wake ups in general.
Yeah, what are you saying, Peg?
I want to get Smart in on a lot of this conversation, and I want to
Yeah,
ask him.
I want to know I want to know about his expectations at
Well,
NEC.
I got 3 questions for Smart. His expectations. Give me 5 player names you want to blow up. And
All right.
the third question is, no, those are only 2. Let's go.
Okay.
Actually, wait.
Well-
I have a third one.
Okay.
Okay.
Why is that on your matchup chart? You only have one bad matchup for Black Adam. You know, if Rico
Okay.
Suave
Okay.
sees that, he's gonna
Yeah,
go insane.
I know.
You know,
That's
wait, and I've
why
got-
I was
before-
like,
before-
going by Rico.
Sorry, I was in the middle of the match. I got another question. Okay, the question is, talk about how you feel disrespected.
Okay.
That's
right, so-
that's a broad statement.
Okay. Well, my expectations. Okay, according to the KTP, I have to make top 8, or I'm gonna get blown up. And my expectation is,
What's
I
KTP?
really, yeah, I really believe I can make top 8. Like, people that have played me know I can. It's just at the majors I've been to, unfortunate things have happened to me, and it sucks. Like,
Just 1 second. I had to interrupt.
my
Why
own-
are you getting
Sorry.
blown up by KTP? I don't understand. Why?
Okay, well, not this week's episode with Sonic Fox, but the episode with Theo. They asked Theo who his top 8 prediction was, and Theo put me on it.
Okay.
And when they said that, it was like, they were like, why would you have him there? Like, it felt like they were just like, you're joking, right? Like, that's the way it came off to me. And, like, when I first heard it, I may have overreacted a little bit, maybe took it too seriously, but it hurt me because, like, I'm one of my own biggest critics. Like, when I do something like, at an Atlanta combat a couple weeks ago, I had a combo to win a match versus Trey Pound, and I dropped it. And I hadn't had an instance like that since TFC. And I was like, this thing is almost over. Like, I'm almost through it to where I can work through everything in a tournament setting and not get any crazy stuff to happen. And then something like that happened, and it really put me, like, on my back foot again. So, it felt like they were kind of, like, disrespecting, like, I shouldn't be even considered.
You know how you shut
First
those
of-
people up?
Well, this
Well,
is
yeah,
a-
I know. I have to go perform. That's the thing.
You know
I
how much
understand.
shit I got before Summer Jam, and how much shit I got? Oh, that was just a fluke. And then I did it again at TFC. People hate me. That's fine, but you can't deny results. And I know how good you are, and I think you just need to ignore all those people, go to a tournament, and do your thing.
Exactly.
And
That's,
just-
that's kind of what I've been doing ever
let
since.
me just say this just to make you feel better. If 60-bit is criticizing you, just remember that he couldn't even get top 8 with pre-patch Killer Frost. That's the character who can kill you 2 combos. That's the character he couldn't get top 8 with. And he's criticizing you. I don't know. That's my case.
To Matt's point, you can't argue with results. What community are you in? Do you not remember me and MK9? You can argue with results till the fucking cows come home in this community. Are you on drugs?
Yeah, I give myself prescriptions sometimes.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Okay, so
That's
my
how I got to get through this
expectation is
podcast.
anything worse than, like, 9th is a total letdown for me.
Well, here's the thing. I don't
I'll
like
still
hearing
be
you say that.
extremely disappointed with 9th.
I don't like hearing you say that because I understand you'd be personally disappointed. But this game is still, by relative other
Yes,
fighting
it
games,
is very young and anything can happen.
I agree.
understand.
I agree.
there is nothing wrong with you getting a top spot but missing top 8 or getting 7th and not going further.
The main thing is I just want to improve on what I've done so far.
That's fine. But simply because you don't know something, there is no shame in saying, I didn't know. Now I do, and I'll come back better next time.
Right.
This community should not. Playing to Win was really upset after losing to Rebella one time. And people were calling me, they were saying, did you see his rant? And I say, you know what's unfortunate? Matt's a great player. But in this community, the fact that he doesn't know something and loses the first time, this community will make you feel like shit for not knowing something. And you feel like you're a scrub all of a sudden. They make you feel that way. And there's no shame in not knowing something right away. I think the biggest downfall to Injustice, the biggest downfall, is that people don't mind our games. They don't like the people that play them. You would never see the Street Fighter community say, wow, Fudo got to 25th at EVO in Street Fighter? He's fucked. What a scrub. We'll never see him in the top again.
Yeah.
Tom, sorry to interrupt, but I just want to ask you about that. But don't you think that also is correlated that Injustice is 2 out of 3 in tournament when it feels like a game that's just not meant for that?
100% agree. Let's talk about that.
Well, before we talk about that, I want to touch on everything you guys just said, but we will talk about that more if you want. I think differently. I'm sorry. I don't want to see my name on top 8 predictions. I don't deserve to be on a top 8 prediction. I deserve to be. I deserve to be on every 9th and 13th place. Like when people start making, all right, guys, let's do it. Let's make top 13 predictions. Man, I promise you, I will be sitting pretty between 9 and 13. I better be. All right, and I will be upset if I'm not on that 9th and 13th prediction. I'm gonna be upset. But I treat sports. I treat everything the same way. I'm like, it's like physical fitness. It's kind of like the whole thing. Like when women who aren't confident, they're like, oh, I'm fat.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you know what, you are. And I know, I'm sorry. This is the world I live in. And,
I agree with you.
Well, hold on. What I say is, you're not going to get any love here. What you're going to do is get real talk and say you're saying it because you want to feel better about being lazy, and are not really, taking care of the situation, I guess. And what I'm going to say is, you are what you are. If you step on the scale, you are what you are. If you've been to tournaments and you're 16, 16, 16, 13, 13, 17, that's what you are.
Yeah.
And I do not want to be on a top 8 prediction list because I didn't know yada yada matchup, or I missed a combo here. I've never seen a football game where the field goal kicker could be like, we should have won that game, but I really fucked up that last kick on 2 seconds left on the clock. Tony Romo wishes he could go back to that Seattle game and say that, but he can't.
Right.
10 years ago. So I'm just saying, you are who you are. Now, you can change it. I can change it. Dave can change it. We all can change it. But as far as I'm concerned, I was amazing in MK, and I'm fucking shit in Injustice.
I agree with what Pig said.
That's how I go to tournaments.
All right, hold on. I just need to say something.
Go ahead.
I don't think I deserve to be on the top 8. If you ask me my top 8 prediction, I'm not on it. It wasn't that I think I deserved to be in a top 8 prediction. It was the fact that when my name did come up on one, it just felt like they were like, why would you say that?
Counting you out, yeah.
Yeah.
You had a chance. I understand.
Yeah. That was my thing. I don't care if anyone puts me in the top 8. I don't care.
I think I texted you this. I can't remember. But what I would say to you is just realize that that's how you're looked at.
Right. I understand. If someone said, hey, Smarr's going to get 17, I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, like soak that shit in, man.
Right.
And really suck it in. And then you go to a tournament, and by chance you do better than what they said you were going to do. You pick up that fucking chair, you throw that shit, you say, fuck you, and look at me, fuck you. And you go nuts. And you say, I made top 8, you motherfuckers. And you just go fucking nuts. And you erupt like hell. And everyone from there, half the people will call the cops. The other half people will be praising you, and the 3 9-year-old kids will tell their daddy they want to grow up and be just like you.
You pull a Tom and just run off the stage screaming after beating Showtime.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just suck it in, and the the worst thing that can happen is you get ninth or 13th or 17th, like you did. Like I'm going to any scene, I'm like, you know what? I'll probably get ninth. I'm cool with that. At 13th, 17th, yeah, that's what I did. But if I get top 8,
Oh yeah.
look
That
out,
was what was
look
Pig
out!
was.
I will probably do what I just said.
Like Pighead at UFGT, when everybody thought he was yelling at Dizzy, and he was yelling at man. When I made top 8, I was popping up to the crowd. I thought I was yelling at Showtime.
Yeah,
Because Pig
dude,
was like,
that video looked terrible.
because Pig was like, you know what? Everybody says you can't do it anymore. You come out of retirement, you get top 8, and you tell them all go fuck themselves. That's what I did. And they were like, wow, what a dick, popping off on Showtime. It's like,
I think the only time I popped off, and it wasn't a pop off on the person, it was just a pop off of insane joy, was when I beat Dizzy.
dude, that's a
Oh,
legendary
And
match.
Pig re-broke his ankle, like
yeah,
high-fiving me.
Yeah, like I went to Frosty Falson's with a broken ankle, and like he won. I was like, oh shit! I just jumped over. I was like, oh god! Because like re-injured my ankle, and I was like hobbling for like another 2-3 days. But
That
yeah,
was a match, actually. That was a big win.
that was amazing. It was the greatest match never recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. That was an awesome match to watch.
But anyway, so that's what I say to you. I mean, that's my pep talk to you, myself, anybody. I mean, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying,
No, there are no excuses.
own who you are, and
Yeah.
if you become something greater than what you are now, all right, then you're gonna own that shit.
I mean,
And-
look,
But why does perception of the community like count? I understand like having a
It
desire.
doesn't,
But
but it's
I'm just
fun.
saying. I'm saying like having the desire to prove people wrong. Hey, I'm all about it. But honestly, I don't care what this community thinks about me. I just don't care. And I don't know why anybody else should care either.
well, let me elaborate on that, because Matt made a great point. People tend to whatever. I want to talk about this very quickly, and this will be quick because I only have one thing to say about this. I don't care so much what they say about me, like people think. The problem is what they do to get to me is malicious. Back in early MK9, the trolling didn't get to me at all, so they thought, oh, we know how I'll get to Tom. We'll go to NetherRealm and say, never bring this piece of shit back again. He's doing X, Y, Z. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're not trolling anymore. You're trying to boot me out of an opportunity. That's not funny anymore. Wonder Chef actually messaged Hector a few times talking about me. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why?
What?
If you want to troll me, then troll me. I don't care. And MLG was a similar situation. I wanted to work for MLG, the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the first MLG event. I was not working for them. I didn't cast the first event. And when talking to Arturo about it, and later on Puckett, after Art was kind enough to get me on to do the grand finals as guest commentary, and Puckett called me after that and said, "You're hired. Fuck this." What I found out was MLG put their feelers out to the community. Who do you want to commentate? And the backlash was, not Tom. Fuck him. He's the worst. So they didn't hire me. They thought they were trolling. It was funny. Ha ha ha. We're getting you now, Brady. And they didn't hire me. And then MLG was like, but it's kind of weird, because then when we hired you, then they turned around and said, yeah, fuck you, MLG. You're dumb for not hiring this guy. And they're like, we didn't hire him because you told us not to. And the community's backlash was, well, why would you believe us? We were just trolling. You should have known better. You believe perfect strangers. And even the same thing when the Prima thing came up. When they were like, hey, put the word out there. And I did. Rip was laughing about the Prima. They were like, look at how these guys are blowing Tom up. Like, oh, Prima never brings him back. He sucks, never uses whatever. And Rip was like, I understand they're trolling you. We're like, but it's not really funny anymore when their trolling is to get you booted out of the position you're in. I doubt if I went to someone's work and said, hey, you know what, this server over here gave me the worst service, cursed at me, spit on me, didn't give me my change back, and then the manager fires him, and I went, relax, bro, I was trolling. I don't think they would say, oh, Tom, buddy, you got me. They would say, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, it's not the trolling that bothers me. It's when it becomes malicious, where the trolling, the joke is to actually hurt me in some way in the real world. That's no longer trolling. Then it becomes malicious, and that's not funny anymore. And that's a lot of the way it goes.
All right, Smart. Top 5 people by name you want to blow up, and why?
Top 5. Okay. Number 1 has to be Fran. I like me and him are like friends, kind of like we're cool or whatever.
Fantastic.
But I just want to beat him really bad because of what happened at TFC.
Okay.
Because I blocked the super, and I didn't punish it.
Yeah, I was commentating for that match.
It was bad. Well, like, the problem was that he had Clash, we both had no meter, and I just couldn't make a split-second decision. I tried to throw him, and when Superman does the super, you block it, he's in the air.
Yeah, he's airborne.
Yeah.
So that really sucked.
That sucks. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're cool. It's not like a hate thing, like I really want to blow him up, he sucks, whatever, he's a fraud. No, it's nothing like that. I just want to beat him.
So you like literally hate his guts.
Yeah.
So number one,
That's-
fantastic. Who else?
Tom, you're on this list
Wow.
at number 2 because I'm the only Black Adam player who lost to you in tournament.
That's not true. Rico Suave's also lost to me.
Okay, well, at a major. How about that?
Fair enough.
Yes, tournament's tournament, though. You know.
Okay.
Number 3.
Hold on. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and go answer the next question while I have a notebook of like people I've written down.
He's
Oh
got a
my
freaking
God.
I gotta
hit
go to
list.
the list.
Oh my God, he's got the Steve Buscemi, Billy Madison hit list.
I gotta go to the list, dude.
Oh my god.
Do you wear red
Is this
lipstick
for
at night?
real?
No, I don't. But I
Dude.
did write down
Smart,
a
you've
bunch of
got-
people I want to play and or beat.
Smart's
Oh.
got the Steve Buscemi list.
Dude, he's got a list.
That's amazing. Take a picture and post it. That'd be amazing.
Okay. Again, this isn't really like a I hate the guy kind of thing. It's just that I want to beat him chaotic
Okay.
because
That's a great question. Keep going.
I think it's ridiculous that Killer Frost players were like, Black Adam is so terrible. Oh my God, we'll never be able to beat this character. And then the patch came out and they were like, 5-5. And I was like, what? So there, yeah, that's kind of how it is. And then I want to beat Rico, but it's going to be super freaking hard because one, that mirror match is insanely stupid. 2, Rico's insanely good. And I mean, I'd like to beat him, but I probably wouldn't prove anything. I'd just be cool.
Is that 5 or one more?
I think that was 4.
Keep going, dude. He's got a list. Let him
yeah,
keep
you got
going.
that.
Dude, yeah,
This is
list.
like a list of people
Smart.
I want to play and or blow up.
Smart. Top 18 by name you want to blow up. Go.
Hold on,
Tell
let
me
me get-
about this. Tell me about this. Why do you only have one bad matchup for
Okay.
Black Adam? This is what I really want to know. Because
What
when you talk to Rico, he names characters after character.
Right.
what
Well,
is the
to
bad
be fair-
matchup?
Well,
Yeah.
one thing
It's
about
odd.
Rico's matchup numbers is he won't say a matchup number until he either beats the crap out of somebody or loses. Like, after he lost the Playing to Win at TFC, Sinestro was bad. And
Wait,
so
who did he
That's a-
lose? Who did he lose to
that-
at TFC?
some guy from Ohio.
Yeah. No,
No,
he
but
got
that-
his run back. So, okay.
Yeah.
No, but that's not necessarily true because he was telling me, he kind of, figured out that, Zod is probably a bad matchup for Black Adam, just if you look at all the
Right,
tools
right, yeah.
together.
I agree.
So he's not necessarily saying, well, once they beat me, it's a bad matchup. I mean, if you're a high-level player, you can figure it out. You know,
Yeah.
just looking at the tools, you know. But why only Zod? Like, I don't understand. Like, I would think that would make him pretty much a
I think
top
Black Adam has all the tools. He doesn't. All right, this is the main thing. He doesn't absolutely body characters like a Kenshi or a Cabal did. Like, he doesn't just dominate people. Like, he did pre-patch, but now, like, with trait not lasting as long, a lot of characters have the ability to kind of deal with him a lot better.
Whoa, whoa,
Like-
whoa, 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 whoa. Kinchy wasn't top. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Now that we're past that.
Yeah, we've already established that topic. Go ahead.
And
I
so
was urinating and almost unmuted just to stop you. But go ahead. I'll
And
prove it.
so I just think, like, all right, the main thing is people flushed me in mid talk. All right. the thing like people see about Black Adam is they're like, he's just a turtle character, you know, like if he can't just run away, he'll lose. And that's not exactly true because he has the ability to get in your face and do a ton of stuff even without like the 50-50s that almost every character has. He's got a ridiculous amount of strings that are plus. You know, he can cancel into his orbs, which is a guaranteed throw off of a lot of strings. You have to tech it. There's nothing else you can do. And then on top of that, I mean, the dive kick is just always a threat. And he does hella damage. So, I mean, I just don't think that there's, other than Zod, I just don't think there's a character that, like, puts enough of a threat onto the screen to make Black Adam scared.
Batgirl? What about Batgirl?
I don't think Batgirl's that bad.
You see what Sonic Fox did to Rico?
I mean,
I think Sonic Fox is incredible.
Yeah, Sonic
really
Fox.
Good.
Like if you haven't played that kid enough, he could blow anybody up in any matchup.
Yeah, you're gonna get blown up.
If
Yeah, if you haven't played Sonic Fox and you played like your down the street best friend Batgirl, and you think you got the matchup down, you're fucked. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're totally fucked. I
don't
that
think
kid.
that was a case of the matchup. That was probably more of a case of you got Sonic Fox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That happened to a lot of people.
Sonic Fox is my
Fair
favorite player to play in this game because I told him, you see that little watermark under my screen? That's Sonic Fox Insurance. Get fucked. Sonic Fox went through his entire roster of characters and lost with every single one of them. I'm like, Sonic Fox Insurance. He was like, that stupid trait, man. Like,
That stupid trait.
yeah.
So does Smarrgasm, do you make this list under your bed sheets with a flashlight at like 2 a.m. with like a
Yeah,
flowered
it's super,
pad
it's
and paper?
super
Like,
weird, dude.
okay,
Like
yeah.
I like huddle around it. All right, like I have a table and it has like my Xbox and the TV and my computer, and it's like a surrounding kind of thing, and I just kind of sit there and scribble out the names in red ink.
The
I
Smarrgasm
think,
list,
when it
that's
comes,
amazing.
I think when it comes to people getting top 8, that there are literally at least 20 people in this community that at any time are in danger of making top 8 or winning a tournament.
Especially at NEC, it's ridiculous how many.
I don't
good
know
people
about
are
winning,
going.
Bill. I wouldn't say winning because right now I consider probably
Let's talk
4
about
players.
Let's talk. Who are those players?
I mean, guaranteed without a doubt is Rio and Forever King. For me, right now in this game, are S plus tier in this game. And
Well, let me just say, like, people already know Rio. Rio is Rio, but I don't think people still. There's people still who underestimate King.
how can you not? Every tournament that dude goes to,
Well, we
he's-
talked about. Well, let me just. I mean, to put Pig on the spot. He said, "I'm gonna beat King with Zod." Pig, I'll tell you right now. I'm not saying you're gonna lose, but you talked about how, you have this- you have
Batgirl,
this-
me, Martian Manhunter, Zod, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you have Batgirl, with Sonic Fox, etc.
Yeah.
Unless you fight King's Batman, and with all due respect to Darth Armor, you haven't fought the best of the best.
I agree. I have not fought the best of the best, but I feel good. Like if I played against him, I want to be like
King will
Here's-
make you block for literally 20 seconds at a time. And then he will watch, and then after 20 seconds, he will go, he's going to mash parry. And he'll watch you do that, and then he'll take 45% of your life away.
I'll just block it after he hits me.
Well, that's why. But that's why he is.
Yeah, I'll block Chip it. He ain't no Johnny Cage.
You
in
know,
this game.
Forever King only has one losing matchup for Batman.
True, but he does downplay. He does downplay.
He
though.
does, but he
I'll
knows.
say this. I don't like hearing that comment where he said, if it wasn't for Aquaman, yada, yada, yada. Because for a long time I could have said if it wasn't for Black Adam, I'd have been winning a lot of tournaments. But unfortunately, I had to go through Rico Suave, so on and so forth.
No, I agree. He
the
should
way
have
it
made
is.
that statement. I agree. He should
just
have made that
dumb.
statement. Okay, but
It's
we
just
got
dumb.
Rio,
He's
King.
young.
Who else? Playing to win. Who else you got? Rio, King.
I mean, absolute S tier in this game in terms of players. I mean, I don't think you can ever. Chris G would have been on that list, but I think he's fallen off. Even at Youmacon when we were talking to him, he just says he doesn't play the game anymore. He
Yeah,
literally
Yeah.
doesn't play it, but he still beat Carl, by the way. He literally does not play the game. So Chris G was in my top. And, like, I got to say this, too, is that the only other one that I would throw up into that category is Wound Cowboy right now. I mean, just based on tournament results and how good I know personally these people are, is that
So there is no one else that is a threat to win this tournament.
no. I'm not saying threat. Okay, I'm saying in my mind, those are hands down the three favorites. But like you said, this is esports. This is a sport. At any given day, somebody could beat somebody else.
Give me 8 to 10 guys that actually have a legitimate chance of winning this tournament, and I think there are that many.
I was really hoping you'd name Theo, but not name Tom, and just see what Tom said.
I wouldn't care. I don't expect them to name me, and then I like that I don't get named. The thing with me is
No. If you want to give me 8 to 10 people, Tom, you would be in that list. I was asked to give my absolute, and we were talking about it, Tom. I'm talking results. We all know how good you are, but you're running into barriers at these tournaments that, like, once you overcome them, I think you'll be fine. But you want to talk the best.
What barrier have I run into that
Tom
didn't remove?
Tom. What Playing to Win's talking about is just what I got finished talking about. You got to own who you are. In June, you were the best Injustice player at the time. Period. You were the best Injustice player, like right around the ECT area and Civil War and all your stuff. If you started naming your placements at majors, starting with Evo until today, you have to accept that's who you are right now.
I do. I also accept that Black Adam was a big factor in that. And
I'm just saying.
I
don't think that matchup has changed that much, though. I don't think Aquaman and Black Adam.
But if you say that now you're
No.
What
Tom,
if you say that you're pulling the Forever King card, you're saying
I'm not
okay.
pulling the Forever King card, but I'm saying a lot of those people that this guy named, their biggest threat to someone like Wound or Forever King is on this fucking phone call right now. I mean, I don't think there's a bigger threat to Forever King than myself in that tournament.
But you got to get there, man. You got to get to that grand finals, the winners finals, to threaten him. That's what I'm saying, man.
Hey, Playing to Win. Who am I? I've been there many times, and it ain't my last time getting there.
Well, then this should motivate you. I mean, I was just asked for my opinion, and that's all I gave.
Oh, yeah.
I don't deny. If you were to ask me, like your question, name 8 to 10 guys who are legitimate threats to win this tournament. Yeah, Rio, Cowboy, Revolver if he has the right draw. Honestly, I think that people, if you don't have Zod experience, I think that Empty Dave and Pig of the Hut are threats. I think I'm a threat. If Cowboy won, he was a threat.
I agree.
I think that.
Well, I think
you're a threat. I don't. Honestly, I don't want to like
Catwoman.
Give Theo any shit, but I just I know what Theo did at Evo, and I know what he does at his locals every week, but I just can't say Theo because I don't know. I mean.
No, but
it's just not there for me yet. I know he's a good. I hear rumors,
Theo is not a good player. He's a great player.
Yeah, Theo, are you there? Are you there, Theo?
I agree. Theo's a great player.
I don't mean it personally at all. I just can't speak from experience because I've never got the chance to play the dude or see him other than at a local tournament. Okay. I mean, whatever.
No, I think Theo is right up there. The problem, that hurts him is honestly he's losing to Catwoman, which.
But I'd be crazy a few days later at the next tournament, though.
Okay, what happened with that match? Like, you didn't know it? Like, we were talking about that earlier in the show. What happened with that?
Oh, no, it was just... Well, Crazy's my friend and my training partner, so there's no salt in me.
Crazy's also known as the Superman killer with Catwoman.
Why didn't you pick Aquaman? Tom says you were afraid.
No, I wasn't afraid. I just really, really wanted to win my first tournament with Superman.
Okay, so you weren't afraid, if I pick Aquaman right now, I'm going to get blown up in this match.
No, I wasn't thinking that at all. I just really, really, really wanted to win my first tournament after the patch with Superman.
All right. That's fair enough.
I feel.
And hold on, I just want to round off my list just to be clear. And you have to give respect to Rico. Rico is always a threat to win these tournaments.
Rico's a threat to win.
I think KDZ lost the edge, man. I think he's freaking. I think KDZ is an amazing player, but I just think that he had the freaking wind taken out of his sails with these nerfs to Superman. I don't think he's a threat right now. I'm not
I don't
saying
think
that he couldn't beat
Superman
anybody.
players are used to wear their KDZ style was the ram, a move that you can't get away from down your throat. Very, very effective strategy.
Martian Manhunter.
Very, very effective strategy in that game. Unfortunately, Superman can't ram that down your throat anymore. He actually whiffs like everybody else. He has to space it out like everyone else, get in range like everyone else. And you can't just bully people with no consequence anymore. So it is, I think what this patch really did with a character like Superman and Black Adam was separate the people that abuse the bullshit from the people that actually know the game from those that don't.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that, except for people like Martian Manhunter. But, and then my last thing I'll say about NEC is that my wild card for this tournament is someone that has the nerves, has been on the main stage before, and has been flying under the radar with two characters that nobody is using at his level right now, and I think that's Maxter. I think that Maxter's a threat. I don't know if...
I think they're playing KI. They're focused more on that, though.
Yeah, if that's true, then no, never mind. But I don't know what they're doing in that house. But I do know that they're going, so I don't know.
I think Crazy Dominican's Martian Manhunter is going to shock a lot of people.
Well,
Rio said CD's got the second best Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I've played
really?
both of their Martians. I played Crazy Dominican Martians. Martian's very good. Very good Martian Manhunter. I think NEC is going to be... I mean, look, the bottom line is there are going to be a lot of people that are going to continue to win and place top 8. This game... there's a lot to take into account in this game, and a lot could happen. This game, you could literally be 9th one day, 7th the next, and win the next day. I mean, that's the way it is.
I agree, man, and that's tournaments in general. It's, everybody on this phone call wants to win, and if we go to a tournament, we get blown up. Do we go, whatever, or do you hit the lab harder, try to figure out what you lost to, and go back to the next tournament? But don't. And I know that, Tom, one of the things that drives you crazy is you'll do well, and then a tournament you'll lose, and then you feel like the community completely disrespects you. But I don't think that doesn't mean you're a great player still. But consistency. But the freaking this is competition. Not everybody can do what Justin Wong did in Marvel 2 for 2 to 3 years and go unbeaten. I mean, that's just not.
Well, it's not about that. Is there a point though that players like Tom and many others, you do well for a while, and then you do bad, and all of a sudden you're trash?
Well, that's because they put so much pressure on themselves.
Well, no. Well, look. Nobody's saying if a Trajan is trash just because he has been winning.
Exactly.
But okay, well, what's up with this community then?
But that's not true. If you go into the Street Fighter forums or look at the Event Hub comments from random internet trolls, man, Infiltration sucks now. Infiltration's not what it used to be. So I think those voices, you just got to tune them out. I put work into this game. I love this game. I got 2 top 8s. I feel right now I am more of a threat than ever because I have no pressure. I have nothing to prove to anybody. I'm going to these events with a clear head, no pressure when I'm playing those matches to make top 8. I can play my game and play loose, as opposed to somebody like Smarrgasm right now who has so much to prove to himself and the community that he's got to learn to deal with that pressure he's going to put on himself. And I think that's one of Tom's biggest problems. I don't know the dude personally, but I think that he wants to win so bad, that when he stumbles the next event, he puts so much more pressure on himself instead of playing his game. When Tom is just playing, when you play a long set with Tom, there's no pressure. He's making reads. He's adapting. His execution's on point. But if you watch him in tournaments late in these games, he's gnawing his fingers off. I don't know.
That's a good. Let me ask you a question. Who won the most clutch player in MK9 award, by the way?
I don't know.
That was me.
Good. Well, I'm not insulting you. I mean, did I insult you?
I'm considered one of the most clutch players to ever play. It's just that I just don't know everything.
Do you think you put a lot of pressure on yourself?
I put absolutely no pressure on
All right,
myself.
then I'm wrong. Just ignore everything I just
I
said.
just want to do the best I possibly can do, and I'm resolute that I don't know everything right now. I didn't know what to do about Black Adam. It seemed extremely difficult. Superman, I had no idea what to do. It was very difficult for me back then, and even now I don't have the experience that I would like to get, and I'm just resolute that it's going to take me a little more time than possible.
Yeah, the way you felt about those characters is exactly how I feel against Martian Manhunter right now, because that character is just the answer for pseudo zoning and zoning characters, and I don't have an alternate good
I
enough
just feel
to
like
compete.
right now that there are several characters who by default get rid of the surprise factor. To be honest with you, I feel like Batman is definitely one of those characters that will overwhelm you despite not knowing what to do in the match. He doesn't have to know what to do.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, Green Lantern's really stupid. Um, I feel like in a way that Sinestro benefited the most pre-patch because Sinestro players like yourself and Ron Cowboy obviously knew their shit. They were on the ball. But you had a lot of people, not the legit Black Adam players like Rico, which you were obviously still able to overcome. But you had a lot of guys, and we all know this, going to Black Adam and Superman as pocket characters. Remember Slayer at Evo said, I just picked him up a week ago, whatever. I believe that the Sinestro players that actually were legit had a feeding frenzy at the expense of these pocket Superman and Black Adam players that were
Yes.
running wild through tournaments, which is why I literally believe that tournament results pre-NEC were determined by who gets Superman and Black Adam when. I think that determined a lot of the results to the point that Black Adam destroyed Next Level. Literally. Superman caused half of the people to quit in California. There was several weekends where Superman and Black Adam won every tournament in the country. I mean, they were literally the grand finals of almost every tournament. One of those characters were either winning or in the grand finals of every fucking tournament. Let me ask you this. What character won Evo?
Superman.
What character won Summer Jam?
Black Adam.
What character won TFC?
Superman.
For
Superman.
anyone, I've always said to me, I told Carl, who cares what people say about you? For anyone to say to me or anyone else out there, you have a lot to prove. You've been running to a roadblock with these two characters. That's 95% of the community that's running to the same fucking roadblock. And it's not because we're stupid. It's just that what the fuck are you going to do? Mr. Aquaman getting block infinited by Superman, and we have the nerve to say that somebody earned their path to top 8, block infiniting half of the characters they're playing against?
Yeah.
Those characters literally could get you which is why I'm anxious to see what Smarrgasm is doing in this tournament as well, because I think he's one of the few legit Black Adams. And I feel like this patch, not so much the whole game, but we agree that there were Black Adam players like a Smarrgasm, like Rico, who know the game, and there are those who are just trying to hop on for the quick success. And I believe this tournament is going to separate those guys who know the game with their character from those guys who hopped on them for a couple of quick results.
Yeah.
Well, playing to when you've had, you were frustrated for a couple of weeks. Maybe you still are.
I am,
because you have somebody like, I picked up Martian Manhunter for a week.
Yeah,
and I was
be honest.
beating you,
Be honest.
Yeah, and I was beating you really, really bad.
Bad. Yeah, it was bad.
But how does that happen though? And then you have again 60-bit. Or maybe he doesn't know the matchup. Or maybe he's stubborn. What the hell are you talking about? How can
Dave, am I that bad of a player that after hundreds of matches that I don't have the brain to adapt, that I don't have the skill to make reads, that I don't have the skill to react to your teleports? Am I that bad of a player? Or do I have all those traits and I was still completely shut down by that character?
I don't know. You've been using Sinestro for how long?
Since the game came out, man.
Yes, the game came out, and I picked up this character for a week, and I don't even know some of these combos. And
Play
I'm
Saberwolf. Problem solved.
and I'm already beating. I just, and I understand why you would get frustrated, and I mean, have you figured it out since then? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you going to NEC? I know you said you weren't,
Well,
but you said you were.
as of right now, I'm not going, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Not to get into my personal life too much, but I have a job where if I'm more than a certain amount of time away from my job and they call me to come in because I'm on call, I can get in legal trouble. So I will literally know if the schedule changed the day or two before. If it does change, I will be buying a plane ticket and coming down there. Now, with that said, everyone knows about this $1,000 money match I have with Rico. That if I don't go to NEC, I still want to do it. We'll probably make it happen at Defend the North, the NYC Major, or whenever Rico and I are at an event together. Like I really look forward to that first to 10 more than anything else right now. But NEC, in my opinion, is going to be the biggest Injustice tournament to date. I'm a little disappointed that it's not getting a lot of mainstream time on Sunday. It's like at 10 a.m. or something like that.
Killer Instinct, brother. That's what killed us, but that's why.
That's it. But well,
New
let me
game.
ask you guys, how much life does Injustice have? Is this a game with longevity? Is this Street Fighter that's still going strong after almost 5 years? How long will Injustice give us a tournament competitive
I
game?
believe as a game, it is. What I believe the issue is, this community is so quick to literally hop off a game and tell everyone else to do so too, that it turns into follow the leader.
Right.
Which leaves, and we even have figureheads of our community that'll go on Twitter and bash the game. And
City Junior.
Just in general, I'm not going to give any names here, but just in general.
Well, that's a name right there, though. It's true.
It has people. It has to do that.
No, I
And
mean, just why, we got to be honest. I mean, he did. And also, Perfect Legend has also been doing it lately, I think, on his Twitter.
NEC should be considered more like the beginning, and we're considering at the end. Like, if you don't do this, your time is done, bitch. Fucking next game for you. Nothing. Why do we do that? This tournament should be more like a starting point, not an ending point.
Dude, this game has a lot of depth. There's a lot of depth in this game. There are characters that are still not discovered, which I'm going to issue a challenge to this community based on some of our conversation in a minute. But I agree, Tom. Like, this game has so much depth. Things are still being discovered. Matchups are still evolving. I don't want to see it go away yet. I'm still having a lot of fun with it.
I don't have the experience I want in several matchups, and I probably won't get that for some time going forward. It won't be probably till into the spring when I am actually the complete player that I want to be. So to be honest with you, I think it'll be very difficult in this version of the game to keep me out of the top 8 on a consistent basis. I won't be to the point where I can sit here and say at any given moment I can win a tournament no matter what character is on the screen. I can't say that with confidence right now because I have a lot more to learn. The fact that anyone out there would think that in a short time span you can possibly learn everything there is to know about every possible scenario in all 30-something characters of this game in just a short time span is absolutely false. And we're the only community that we live in this fake world where our game is the one game that's so shallow it should be figured out in 1 month, and then there are frauds and there are legit players. Instead of saying this game is so deep, let's let it keep developing. Let's see how it goes going forward. And yet every other game that comes out, they literally proclaim they don't know anything about Killer Instinct, and they're already proclaiming Killer Instinct to be 10 times more in depth than Injustice. There are people that don't even own an Xbox One or have played the fucking game, and they're saying Killer Instinct is the end-all be-all compared to Injustice. How the hell do you know? I mean, it's just...
So, to segue on that point, Tom, I want to go down the list of everyone in this call right now. Name me 1 or 2 characters that you think is extremely viable that has not had proper representation or a player really unlocked the skill yet. And Mario and M2 Dave knows who I'm gonna say immediately.
Character?
What character in this game? I'm challenging the community. I 100% still think Flash I am terrified of that character. I don't think it's had the right player get a hold of him yet to really unlock what that character's capable of. So that's a challenge to the community for me. I want to see somebody pick that character up and show us what he's capable of. I think the character is still very good and just has not had proper representation yet.
He's retarded. The Flash, I'll buy into that Flash top 5 talk. I don't know if he's really top 5, but it's just a figure of speech, so to speak. I think he's a absolutely ridiculous character.
Theo, who do you think? What character in this game do you kind of fear that you just think has not had the proper representation yet?
As far as the 2 characters I'm going to name, I think they're naturally not built to fight Superman as well, but I think Ares and Nightwing are the 2 characters that are just not played at the highest level yet.
I think Ares is Aquaman's only 7-3 match. That absolutely has no chance to lose. I would say Shazam. He's a character I'm terrified of, despite the fact how I know that matchup in and out. Shazam is a fucked up character.
Can Aquaman punish Torpedo?
Depending on spacing.
A close one he can punish with forward and 2. A mid-range one he gets a full combo, but a close one he only gets forward and 2. But at least he gets the knockdown.
Yeah.
So
Theo says
Shazam.
Nightwing, and who is the other one?
Ares.
Ares and Nightwing. Bill, are you with me with Flash?
I'm with you with Flash. I already know the character's fucked up. I've played enough people to know he's retarded.
Anybody else that you just are kind of like, man?
Yeah, Shazam.
Okay.
Anyone that the character's stupid.
What about you,
I don't
M2
think
Dave?
stupid like broken. I mean, the character can compete. I've never seen... There's no character in this game that's the level of Shiva in MK9.
No, I would say... I mean, I'm not going to say the Flash because I know what Master D has done. I know the character is... In my opinion, top 5 is not a figure of speech. I know for a fact that character is top 5 after seeing what... my cousin, he'll be back. He'll play again. If he travels, he'll show the world, what that character is truly capable. I would say Lobo.
Yeah, that was mine. Yep.
I think Lobo is better than Shazam. Does more damage, has range, but thanks to the
Yeah,
trait.
for sure. But there are more guys on Lobo. People aren't even giving Shazam a chance. They automatically are just like, oh, he's bad.
No, I know. But I think Lobo is, his dash is good. His damage is very high. I think he definitely has some potential.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
I thought maybe Deathstroke. You got to get back in there and dig and flesh them all out. You know what I mean? I mean,
Flash's dash recovers so fast, and most people that dash forward, they have to wait. The Flash recovers so quickly, he can just dash in, down 1-2, and you're like, what happened? The character is ridiculous.
You know who has the most sluggish forward dash I've felt in this game is Green Lantern.
Yeah. He would be unbeatable. If he could move, he would be unbeatable.
He would be like, if he had good dash, like good walking speed.
Yeah.
At mid-range, you will literally do nothing but hold down back. That's what
Theo, what do you think about Green Lantern? You guys don't have... Green Lantern is more of like the East Coast trend. What do you think about Green Lantern?
Well, technically Denzel is part of the West Coast, so we can kind of include him, but I think I label characters in like 2 categories. There's the good characters and the ridiculous characters. I would say Green Lantern is in the ridiculous category, but he does have some pretty shitty matchups.
Yeah.
That's true.
Who else is in your ridiculous category?
There's a lot. I mean, Flash, Black Adam, Superman, Raven, Zod, Martian Manhunter.
No, Zod is mediocre.
This guy.
All right. Playing to win. I have 3 for this.
All right.
I have 3. Raven, even though, all right, Ducky and Glass Sword are getting there. Ducky's only been to 1 major. Glass Sword is leveling up at an incredibly fast rate. So I think soon we're going to see, especially at NEC, we'll probably get to see it. But right now I think Raven is heavily slept on.
Now let me ask, because you guys both just said Raven, but I think M2 Dave and I both agree that Raven is, unless there's something I don't know, Raven is hugely vulnerable to character like Forever King or a player like Forever King who has just got relentless rushdown. How does
That's
Raven?
Batman.
Well, how does Raven deal with rushdown like that?
She has, all right. Other than like she is like partly vulnerable to people who will jump at her a lot. I probably would say that. And when she gets knocked down, it might be a problem. But the fact that she builds a ridiculous amount of meter, and if the Raven player is good, they will stop you from dashing into their face. Especially with Soul Crush and down one lift, which is a humongous combo if it hits.
True, that's like over 40%.
It is
It's
minus 10.
45.
People don't punish it as well, though. It is minus 10.
That's what
Right.
that's what I'm saying. But a player like King is going to punish that stuff
But
every single time.
if they're catching your dash with it, it's a punish.
True.
At the same time, I can't help but notice something right here. This community, I don't know when we're going to fucking learn. Is Forever King the next victim of the automatic top 3? Is he the next victim of that? We heard this all through MK9, how somebody was automatic.
Well, he's got top 3 in his last 3 tournaments.
I mean, that's fine. But again, my whole point is that when are we going to stop with the automatic? No one is ever automatic. Ever. Phenomenal player. And I think it's unfair to label a phenomenal player automatic because then it puts extra flack on them when they don't. And there's nothing wrong with losing to another top player. And just the automatic label I've always felt is absolutely ridiculous.
I hear you.
Many players.
Smar, who's your other 2?
Okay, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
Goomba here in Atlanta is a great Wonder Woman player. And other than Foxy, who's across the ocean,
the mythical Foxy.
I don't see anybody doing the ridiculous stuff that character is capable of.
Yeah, Foxy is. I played as Wonder Woman. It's awesome to play him. I'm looking forward to getting some more matches in him. She's
That
definitely a phenomenal
character has some stuff that is beyond just so fucked up.
I agree.
And
And then
she pretty much always just reset her pressure when she does the dive punch thingy in the corner.
Yeah,
100%. And she also has a mid-screen kind of vortex where she'll do a back 3 and then dashboard forward 3.
Yeah,
and the knockdown is really messed up.
Yeah,
it gets you, and it becomes a really messed up 33% guess.
Yeah.
Where it's a cross-up forward 3. She can go low or she can go overhead from the same side. And if she does the cross-up forward 3, the only way to avoid it is to block it or wake up the opposite direction through it. And,
I just
Man can do rise and grab, right?
characters with good wake-ups that go both ways probably have a good way at it.
Batgirl's one of those. If she inputs flip kick and it gets reversed, she does the 6 frame.
She'll do the uppercut.
Yeah, even Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just mashed Water Shield. Down, cross
Yeah.
down.
No, Water Shield's not fully invincible though.
No, but Wonder Woman's forward
It comes
3,
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it will. It's already going to be active by the time that happens.
Right.
Who else, Smar?
Right.
Yeah, who else?
The last one is Hawkgirl.
I don't know about her though.
There are some good ones that I've played, man.
I
wouldn't say
Thank God for Sinestro.
I think there are some good Hawkgirl players, but I think that
dropping
character still has
meteors
a lot
on
of
her.
stuff.
Staying out of the air.
I agree that she has some really lopsided matchups, and you probably will have to have a secondary. But that character still has some stuff, and it's ridiculous that people aren't using that I've seen for the most part is her wing evade acts as a backdash. It will avoid frame traps, and so will Mace Charge. So it reminds me of Scorpion's teleport, where he could just say, "Fuck your frame trap, I'm behind you, hitting you." And with her Mace Charge, it does 13% naked. So you only have to hit them 6 times, or 7 or 8 times to take a life bar.
Yeah.
And God forbid if they meter burn that in the corner.
Right.
Yeah. Then you're dead.
40.
Then you're 40, 50. Yeah. It's phenomenal damage. So
like Smart said, she's like Green Lantern though. I'd still put her in the ridiculous category, but she has serious problems.
Yeah, she has some seriously bad matchups where I wouldn't ever play that character in some matchups. But
I wouldn't put
I
her
think-
ridiculous. I would put her.
So, do you
really
think
good.
in the life as this game evolves to the highest level, you to compete there, with the exception of a few characters, you are going to have alts. Like, and that's what I'm struggling with now, because Sinestro is a very good character that has some really, really hard matchups. So for me to win a major someday, do I have to have multiple characters?
I think it's a smart thing to do to always have like a backup, because there are those times where you're going to feel like you're completely lost, and in that moment you're not going to be able to do anything about it. But in some situations where, like, if you barely lose a bad matchup, I think you're better off staying with your main because you just know that character.
Right,
The
right.
experience factor is better off for you. I feel
Right.
like besides Martian Manhunter, the rest of Sinestro's problem matchups are not common characters.
Killer Frost, though.
Aquaman.
Aquaman's not a common character.
He's pretty common.
He's pretty common. You can count the number of Aquaman players on one fucking finger, but on one hand. But you can count Superman's and Black Adams with your fingers and toes. Get the fuck out of here, man.
What about Killer Frost, though? I mean, isn't playing that's a
Ironically-
difficult matchup, though, right?
Absolutely.
But she's not common. Ironically, why? I mean, when you go online, you'll run into everyone's common online.
But Tom,
But
the game is rather new. People are gonna catch up. You know what?
I know, but I'm saying currently, right now, how are you not surprised that there are not more Killer Frosts? Even when the game first came out, aren't you surprised that there were not more Killer Frost
Yes,
players?
because I
currently?
still think Killer Frost is one of the best in the game.
Well, then we're not uncommon because Black Adam
Yeah, it's true.
destroyed her.
Right.
People picked Rooftop. Then you know,
Oh,
not
God.
only- I mean, it was ridiculous. There was probably like an A2 matchup, you know. So no wonder people didn't want to play the character, but now they do. So it's, you know, I think people are not playing this game at a high, you know, at the highest level of play yet. That's why, you know, because Sinestro has some very, very difficult matchups. If you sit out, you have Aquaman, Killer Frost, Martian Manhunter.
Flash, even though Cowboy will
Flash.
argue with me about that.
Yeah, so, but I think the Flash probably, you know, I mean, that character's going to have some major issues.
Well, let me ask you, Theo, is there an S plus tier in this game? And if there is, what characters do you think are in that tier?
I think the only S plus, I'd say Martian, and arguably, I think when the game goes down, I think Martian and Zod are going to be the Cabal and Kenshi of the game.
How
I actually
dare
agree
you?
with
How
that.
dare you?
Shut the fuck up.
That's funny. Don't Theo ignore M2 Dave because he said the exact same thing when we were playing local.
I
scene
never
right
did.
there.
Third will be,
I
and
said
third will be
Deathstroke is
Deathstroke. Third will be Deathstroke.
No, but
All right, so
even if Zod is S plus, as you guys claim, he will require so much work to get there. Unlike Martian.
So did Cabal.
Yeah,
True.
Cabal wasn't what he was until the game evolved a little bit. That's the same in, you know, you can make that comparison to other games like Viper and Street Fighter wasn't what she was until a year or two into the game, and that, you know.
Okay, fair. But okay, we know why Martian Manhunter is, you know, S plus. Why do you think Zod is?
I think his forward two is a really, really good footsie tool. And I think just like when we play the Superman matchup, I think one thing I want to see Zods do more is reading 4-2-3s, backdashing, and then punishing with the forward two launcher.
Okay.
I just think his trait mix-ups are just endless. I think the creativity in what you can do with his trait is going to go on forever and ever. And I think his raw zoning is really good too. I mean, the sidearm and the Zod ball are just really good for certain matchups. His damage output is really good.
Mhm.
I mean, his parry, it's kind of like the cherry on top. You can't always rely on it, but it's a good threat to have.
But do you think he's like a zoning character? And you know, like, if you look at the character, he's really a zoning character because he doesn't really have any 50-50 mix-ups. He doesn't have, like, forward 2 is good, but it's still
I think
50
Pig might
frame.
argue with you on that.
He's a
though.
runaway zoner until that little monster comes back.
Pig, you there?
And then it's party time.
Pig, you there?
He's raging playing online probably.
Okay, he's probably like, okay. But I still see him like as a, you know, Not strictly. I'm not talking about like Freddy zoning where you literally, full screen tossing, But he's really like, because this neutral game isn't really that strong until the trade comes. Then when the trade comes, then he can do whatever the hell he wants. But we already know that. I'm just saying, forward 2 is good, but there's better moves that are 15 frames, and they have more range. Like Black Adam's forward, back 2-3. I mean, that's better than than any of our normals, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
but
think they're
that's
pretty
good
close
for
to
him as a
equal.
character. Like that
What?
just complements Black Adam. I mean, that's
Sure.
just
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I'm saying at that speed, there's better normals out there than forward 2. I mean, it's a good normal, without a doubt, but there's better out there.
I think that the fact that it's a far-reaching low gives it an extra boost as well.
True.
But you're
true.
right, the speed does affect it. Like if it was as fast as Lanterns, yeah, it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be stupid, but there's only one back one in the game, so.
Right.
I mean, Theo, give me if I was to put the spot on you right now, and I were to say, give me the 5 most useful characters in this game, top 5 characters. What 5 come to mind?
Martian Manhunter, Zod, Superman, Killer Frost, Batgirl.
You wouldn't have Aquaman in there?
I actually agree with them. I mean, look, I have oftentimes tried to say, oh, Aquaman this, Aquaman that, but I fight a lot of these matchups. And even though people argue with me, Tom, you fight Green Lantern so well, I would rather fall off a skyscraper than fight that character.
See,
I agree. That matchup with Aquaman is
it is
annoying
rough.
as hell.
And I think maybe it's by luck that I seem to be so successful at it, but it's very irritating for me. It's very difficult for me to do it.
Well, Tom, I guess the problem is that in the end, Aquaman zoning isn't that strong, right? To keep him, because you got to keep Lantern out. Most people
I
has
look
to
at
do
that match and I say, have you ever seen some of the shit I do to beat Green Lantern? I'm a retard. I take so many fucking risks. There's no way making that kind of risk. In reality, he probably loses that match. Martian
6'4".
Manhunter, 6'4". I could see him losing the Manhunter. Rio has it even, but I could see him losing that as well. Raven is very difficult for Aquaman. Hawkgirl, I think, is roundabout even or slight advantage. Batgirl is not the handicap match people think it is. Even though he does win, it's not a handicap match. Black Adam is still difficult. Killer Frost, potentially he loses. That's very difficult. Scorpion is not as easy as people think. It's Aquaman wins, but it's not. I don't think it's a handicap match. Bane, it's not as easy as people think. It's probably close to an even match. While Aquaman, I think, does beat Grundy, it is very difficult for him to do. Characters like Lobo and Shazam give Aquaman a lot of nightmares because they're going to kill him if they block anything he does. He can't even do a trident rush on them. They punish it with a full throw into a combo. It's very difficult. Flash is also very difficult because trying to have to fight a pure footsies battle, when Aquaman can't use From the Deep to dictate footsies and has to fight you just footsie per footsie, it's very difficult with a character like the Flash, who's made for that. If you were to say Flash is fighting a character who can't throw anything at him, you'd probably say he wins. And it's very difficult, even though I think it's even. So Aquaman has way too many matchups that I'm on the fence about. Even if he wins, it's very difficult, and he loses several of them. So I do agree with Theo on that. I do think Batgirl. Why people are not whatever with Batgirl is ridiculous to me. She is a phenomenal character.
But isn't on paper Killer Frost? Isn't she better than Batgirl?
I just think Batgirl is one of those characters where she limits mobility. You don't play Injustice. You play Batgirl.
Yeah.
Her.
But you do the same thing with. Well, I think Tom said it best. Against Killer Frost, I feel like I'm playing Mortal Kombat Deception. I feel like I'm playing Dairu. Why am I holding up? Why like you can't play footsies with that character. You literally just. That's why the only characters who beat her are characters like who can go in the air constantly. But you can't play footsies against that character. So if you don't have aerial mobility, you're going to block the slide over and over and over and over again until you get launched into Vortex.
But the thing about Killer Frost is that she struggles against characters that can run away from her, and that just gives her even more nightmares on a stage with really good interactables.
True.
Yeah, I
She
agree.
struggles having to chase Black Adam down, or chasing Superman down, or chasing maybe Green Lantern down. I'm not sure.
But
Right.
what about Batgirl? Batgirl, she lacks that dominant mid range tool. I don't think she has it though.
But the thing is, besides, I think the only thing keeping Batgirl from being on top is Aquaman. I think Aquaman is the only matchup where Batgirl can just say, "Oh my God, this sucks." But
Yeah,
besides
because he
that,
can harass her. Actually, he can really harass that bitch, and she can't get off the ground on him, and he can harass her to no end. But I think with Killer Frost and Batgirl, the main thing is that there's no in between with them. I think that if you have to, if the match is either a neutral match where where the character where she can fight you at neutral, or you have to run to them, they beat you. The only way they do not beat you is if they actually have to spend the entire match chasing you down. That is the only way you beat those two characters. If the match has to be played at neutral or you chase them, good fucking luck.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. No, I'm just like, because against Killer Frost, you just constantly looking for the slide. But I feel like against Batgirl, there's no, she still has to get in to the mid range to. She still has to get a lot closer than Killer Frost to hurt you. You know what I
but
mean?
her risk reward is just lopsided in her favor.
I know it's completely ridiculous.
I mean, with Batgirl, the fact that she can just like against most characters, they're so scared to like throw anything because of her teleport that she can sit there and just do bola stuff, like just toss bolas and
But here's
like
the thing.
batarangs that you.
But you can
until
bait
you
that
do
out.
something.
You could bait it out and punish it, unlike a character like Martian Manhunter, though.
Which is what puts Manhunter over her.
Yeah.
You know.
But also the thing about
Right.
Batgirl is if you bait it out the wrong way, she can whiff it, and then the guessing game is still in her favor. Like one thing that Sonic Fox does on me is, let's say I try to bait a teleport, and then he whiffs it. I think to myself, okay, I'm gonna do forward 2-3 to get pressure on him, but then he whiffs it, jumps back, and then whiff punishes my forward 2-3.
How do you purposefully whiff a teleport?
If you can backdash it to make it whiff, but then I think just some other times it just whiffs on its own.
If
And
your
then-
character has a fast enough backwalk speed, they won't block it.
yeah.
It'll just miss.
Well, that's not him doing that purposely. That's
But he takes advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he takes
Right.
advantage of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, because on block it's death, but on whiff, surprisingly, unlike Martian Manhunter's teleport, that move recovers very quickly. Like it almost has no recovery.
Yeah, as soon as she hits the ground, it's
Yeah,
like
it's-
she's
yeah.
ready to move again.
You can
And
whiff
then
punish it, but it's like really, really, really difficult.
I've tried to whiff punish it with 4-2-3, and I'm telling you, he just jumps back and then kills me.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, do you think it's the lack of the neutral game in this game that you're either chasing someone down or forcing them to chase you down that causes people? I hear people like PL say he's bored of this game, that he feels like it's one way or the other way too much, that there's no in between. Do you think that's true, and do you think a lack of that is what causes a lot of people to lose interest?
Well, I think that the one thing that NR's definitely made a mistake is with the walk speed. You know what? I'm a zoning. I like zoning characters, but I think you should have movement options. Everybody should have movement options. You should not move like like a
Like a bunch of Makotos.
Right.
exactly like
Dave, the other day when we were playing, like when your Zod balls were pretty on point, I wasn't allowed to move because like I can't get up and walk.
And I was telling playing to win. I was telling about those series. I was like, dude, when I get the Zod balls down, he literally couldn't do anything. He was just
Yeah.
like holding down and just letting my trade recharge.
I was literally letting your trait recharge and hoping you would mess the Zod ball up so I could force you to block for a second so I could move.
And I was telling people like, dude, at certain times that matchup didn't seem 6-4 at all. It seemed like 7-3 Zod. That's how bad it sometimes got.
I think one thing that might stealth buff the characters that have to chase you is you think to yourself, okay, I can still walk towards this character, and then with enough patience I can get in. But then the time is an enemy to that. I've thought to myself, maybe like when the first health bar goes down, the time resets, making it more rewarding for trying to walk a character down. because you can walk someone down for so long until the time runs out. And then the thing is, they have 2 health bars, so you have to pretty much kill them twice on one timer.
Dude, I want this game. This game needs to be 3 out of 5, and there are people that argue with me, but they don't understand that this game is so. Once you have a relatively decent life lead, like say 50%, 30 to 50% in this game, it is extremely hard to come back. And the reason is because of the life bar system in this game. This game is made to be 3 out of 5, 100%.
I agree with you, but to be fair, there are characters with a ridiculous comeback factor.
Yeah,
Well, they
Frost.
are,
Yeah,
like-
and then you can name all characters with the vortex, but that's pretty much it. But I agree. But I mean, this game is made to be 3 out of 5, 100%.
Well,
And,
I
and
understand.
I've seen some people complain that if we do 3 out of 5, it would take too long.
No, it wouldn't.
But let's take a game like Street Fighter. It's 2 out of 3, but there's rounds in that game.
Rounds, yes.
So a 2 out of 3 in that game might take just as long as a 3 out of 5 in this game because of the rounds in that game.
Plus, in this game, you have things that open people up, and your characters do really high damage. So for the most part, other than clashes, for the most part, the game is pretty lightning when it comes to
I think
stuff
you
happening.
have to take the interactables into consideration. I think you also have to take into account how just the 2 life bars. I think this was a wrong game to put a 2 life bar system in, but shit can just happen so quickly.
You know,
Right.
No, because
And-
it's like this, even Matt and I, we were playing earlier. I take Zod, hit him with one interactive, hit him with another, maybe do one more setup, and the match is over. There's nothing he can do anymore. You know what I mean? That's how or I guess wrong, he puts me into Vortex, does 50%, activates trade, and it's over. There's nothing I can do at that point.
Yeah, I was playing Cowboy the other day, and there would be matches where it would be the last hit, and then there would be a match where he would hit me with the Vortex 6 times, and I'd lose by an entire life bar. And it felt bad that I could lose to something like that just for guessing.
You know, you guys made the point about, well, some people complain about it would take too long. That makes me want to destroy somebody. That is such bullshit. When you have a game out there like Tekken, that every
That takes
freaking game,
forever.
every match is 3 out of 5. The
The
rounds are
top 8
3
is
out of
like
5.
2 hours.
And they're
2.5 hours
freaking
for
top 8. You know, TOs, I'm sorry, but who fucking cares? These players are coming to your event, spending time, investing time, money. Give the communities what they ask for. And what I'm telling our community is that if we decide to do it, it will be done, because that's how this game is going to be played. That's what Tekken did. All these other games, that's what they do. So why don't we just decide as a community to just do 3 out of 5, because we know that that's what this game is made for. It will still, was it Theo that was saying about a game like Street Fighter, which I've played nonstop for 4 years, and I agree with you. The way the round system works, a 2 out of 3 in Street Fighter will probably take longer than a 3 out of 5 in this game, unless it goes down to the wire every single time. But we just need to decide as a community to just do it. So I don't know. I'm a huge proponent of getting that done.
2 out of 3 pretty much means if Flash launches you a total of 6 to 8 times
That's it.
in a tournament game, that's it.
That's it.
You, sir, have lost the game.
Flash is absolutely ridiculous.
I know, but that's what
But
that's
there are
why,
no
like,
Flash players
when you
out there.
say when you say Flash players, they're probably one of the players who are like, what? You can't come back in this game? Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
guys.
everyone looks at it through their perspective, and the Flash
Yeah,
players
yeah,
are just
exactly,
like,
but
what are
they
you
don't
talking
understand-
about?
They don't understand that not everybody has 60% combos that carry you
Oh,
to the
it's a
wall and then
7 frame low.
yeah,
But you can't get out.
that
fucking
they
wall.
put you in a 50-50 mix-up. Like
Some
not every
Flash
character.
players tried to tell me that back 2-2 was a bad string.
It's in a great. Oh, dude.
That
Oh,
string is amazing.
That's what
That's
Zyfox told me,
that
actually,
gives me a headache.
one time. He said it
Well,
was a bad
Zyfox
string.
is just not a very good player, and I don't mean that personally,
he's
because I'm
good,
sure
but
he's a
he
nice
told-
guy. I'm
told
sure
me
he's
that one
got it,
time.
friends, maybe. But for the multiple times I've seen this guy play in his locals and me personally playing him at Summer Jam, I'm not impressed. He does not use. He might be a very good player, but he just does not
Well, this was
know
months
how to
ago
play Flash.
that he said that, and he admitted he was wrong. But at one time he was like, "That move is bad," and I'm going, "What? Why is it bad?" I mean, one thing I want to touch on really quick, because I know Dave has it in the thing, is to talk about KI. One thing I wanted to bring up here is that,
Are you getting paid to say this?
no,
Okay.
we all love, the games NRS tab. We put our time into it. We practice it. We go to the tournaments. We spend our money. We travel across the country. In our community, we're the villains. The guys that are the heroes are the supposed gods who hate our game, rarely touch our game, and that they put them on a level where we're all just a bunch of shitty players, and thank God they don't play our game because they would crush us all. Now, I'll be the first to admit guys like Justin Wong are far better fighting game players than me, and I have tremendous amount of respect for these guys. But the fact that our community literally cheers on guys, and I don't mean I brought up Justin because he's such a big name just winning the KI tournament, but not Justin in particular, but other guys from other communities that come to our game, and there's nothing wrong with them playing. But the fact that our community literally wants us to lose to people who don't even like the game, just so they can say, you suck and your game sucks, when they're a part of this community, and I've never understood that. I look at a guy like Justin Wong, he wins the KI tournament. Everyone's like, wow, godlike. Should I have entered that tournament and won? My own community would have told me to go fuck myself. So it just makes me wonder, why is our community so against our game and our players? They blow up our games. They'll never blow up Street Fighter. They'll never blow up Tekken. As a matter of fact, anytime a new game drops, they drop our game, at the game that they say they love, and they'll go there. Why is our community against its players and against its games?
I don't know, man. I think ever since Injustice came out, there's always been that, everybody's saying, well, it's not MK. For example, why is Dizzy not playing Injustice? He was one of the best MK players. Why isn't he playing Injustice?
He doesn't like the game legitimately. Like, he's more of that methodical footsies-based player. He didn't like the dancing in and out and the constant retarded 50-50s and yada, yada, yada. He is playing KI because KI does have that neutral game aspect that I think he was looking for in Injustice. But at the same time, he doesn't cheer against his community's players.
Well, Tom, I know why. Dude, believe it or not, this is the FGC, and we are not even a fraction of the size of some other communities out there, like the freaking cosplay community. Don't. But what I'm trying to say is, no, don't even get me started yet on that.
Talk about that.
Don't. But what I'm trying to tell Tom is that there are
talk about that.
All right, there are celebrities in this community, and there are people that have targets on their back, and people love to see people fail, man, because it's what they can go on the boards and talk about, blow people up. People want to see people fail. They don't want to see people win. Chris G won how many tournaments in a row? And the dude is a legitimate nice guy, but he became the villain because people want to see success fail. It's just the way people are, man. It's simple sociology. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
That, but I'm huge fans of guys like Justin Wong. I cheer for him anytime I see him play. Same thing with Chris G. I love Chris G. I've always been a big Chris G supporter. I've known him for many, many years. Same as guys like Justin and Flo. All those guys I think are really good, and I have no problem with any of those guys. But at the same time, while their community obviously I'm sure they go through the same thing in their communities. Our communities do it to their own players within. But then they also shit on they want their players to lose to everybody. They literally, for some reason, this community has this point where they want to get across that our games should not be being played. No, and it seems like no matter what NetherRealm does, this community seems to be against it. They say they love MK9 so much, but if you guys remember, they shit on MK9 for over half the game's life, our community. It was supposed to be dead after the first Evo. It was a shallow game. It had no depth. Nobody should play it. It's going to die soon. And now that it's gone, and Injustice is here, and Injustice is a better game, what do we hear? Oh, MK9 was great, and they don't realize that they're making it very difficult for this community to grow. I mean, we're supposed to be expanding. I don't understand. The first Evo we had 500 people for MK. Second year had, about 300. Third year, less than that. Injustice, we had 500 people. Something like that. Let me ask you this. How can our community be 3 to 4 to 5 times larger than it was in MK9's first Evo, and we have the same or less players? How is that possible? And when MK9 was at Evo, we didn't have any offline scenes outside of 2 or 3. We didn't have any tournaments outside of maybe the East Coast ones and a few in California. We didn't have the GTA scene. We didn't have the Combat Houston scene. We didn't have the EGP scene. We didn't really have the Vegas scene. We didn't have the Atlanta scene, not like it is now. We didn't have the Ohio scene anywhere near like it was now at the first Evo. So why are the local scenes so much stronger? We have more players, and yet we can't equal MK9's success in tournaments when our community is this big. Why is our community shrinking as it expands instead of growing?
It's a great question, man. I think that because that, for that's a lot of time and money to go to these events, man. And I think that real life catches up to a lot of people, whether you want to admit it or not. Like, times are changing. Like, the economy's different. People don't have the disposable cash that they I don't know. I'm not going to get into the politics too much, but it's just that this fighting games is a life for very few people. This can only be a hobby. My career, my real life supports my hobby. I don't think that the community doesn't support itself because it just doesn't have the sponsors. It doesn't have the exposure. There's really no money in it at all. You talk about 500 people went to Evo. How many of those people actually made money? 2, 3? You know what I mean? Like, this is an investment for people. It's a hobby. Like, I don't know. Like, this is a topic I could talk about for a long time, but I think that your question is extremely complex, has a lot of depth, but I think that the answers are just too in depth to talk about, man.
But at the same time, we have this general, perception of let's get this game over with, bring on MK10. But you and I all know when MK10 comes out, it'll be, let's get rid of MK10, bring on MK11. You and I both know that, And why do you think that is? I mean, is it not true that NetherRealm is making quality games now, that they are improving from game to game drastically?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just, I don't know, it's just something that I picked up on. I just don't understand. This game just doesn't seem to have the fire that I think it should. And it's in MK9. Dave, you played online, right?
Yeah.
And Pig,
sorry.
I didn't either. But Dave, I know, did, and Pig did. It was easier to get matches in MK9 than it is in Injustice. Why is that?
Because of next-gen consoles.
Well,
probably, Theo.
Well, I think, Theo Joins is a great guy. I've met him many times. I talked to him, but when he went on that anti-injustice, rant on Twitter every day, bashing the game, bashing NRS, he made the entire scene look bad. So not only does he discredit the game, he discredits all of you. All of you participate in tournaments, he discredits you. So that means if you win, it means nothing. You're playing a bad game. Why should we care? And if high level players like that start with such negativity, then others will follow.
Right, like you had Sanford and Yipes who were showing interest in the game, and then all of a sudden it hit a brick wall. Like, you have the people who are really voices just trashing on the game because of their personal like feelings. Instead of saying, "Hey, I don't like it, but maybe you will. You should at least give it a try."
A lot of those feelings were
People will just turn their backs on it.
yeah. A lot of those feelings are because they were not winning. If they were winning, the game would be great. Trust me.
Yeah, like I said, some of it's based off of personal things that are happening.
So I think Tom, there's your one aspect of your answer, and definitely man brings up another. But I definitely think that hurt the community. It hurt the game. So if a big voice is telling that the game sucks, why should I play it?
Yeah, because in the end, I don't think sometimes the highest level players in this scene realize the impact they have on the younger generation playing the game. People that are like looking at the game that really don't understand the game at a level of some of these really good players that go, oh my God, this guy that I love to watch and respect is saying, screw Injustice, I'm going to play Street Fighter now. Well, I'm going to go play Street Fighter because that must be a better game. So, yeah, I think that the players do have a larger impact than they actually believe, because what drives Test Your Might, what drives these majors? In the end, it's the players, it's the great players. If we didn't have great players, then what would this all be about? In the end, it's competition. The one other aspect that I want to say is that Capcom does the Capcom Cup. They invest, they invest in their scene, and I'm not saying NRS doesn't invest in their scene, because I know that they keep track of the community, but I would like to see more NRS-driven incentives to play the game. Have the NRS Cup. NRS is going to support this game over here, and NRS is going to give us a $3,000 pot bonus for NEC. Then all of a sudden you start getting the attention of the elites in the scene. Then you start getting people that follow the elites in the scene. If you have people, Yipes picks the game up and goes, you know what? This game's freaking sweet. And he tweets that out to his how many thousands of followers, and people are like, well, Yipes is saying that. That must be the cool thing. Let me pick up this game. Let me try it out. So, I think that NRS could have a bigger influence on the life of the game. I know that, look at Capcom. 4 years out, they did the Capcom Cup, the 25th anniversary. They're doing things to keep their game alive and in the forefront of the scene. So, not a gripe at NRS, but because they do a lot for the scene, but I think they could do a little bit more in drawing these bigger names and in making. I'm rambling, but whatever.
No, that's a good. Like Tom, is this game going to be at MLG? I think that's definitely going to determine how long.
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so?
I believe if any game is, it will be Killer Instinct.
Well, I think that's honestly, if the game is not an MLG, that's going to hurt the game a lot. Because one of the reasons why MK survived for so long is because it was at MLG. The money was there, the hype was there. And quite frankly, the game survived, for that long. But if Injustice is not present, honestly, I'm not sure how long this game can survive. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, why is that being relied so much on MLG? I mean, there's still going to be SoCal regionals and then just any other major for it.
Because of what I just said, because of
grassroots weren't able. Like, if MK didn't have MLG, that's literally what held it together the last year.
But why? Right. It's what I said, though. Because of money, top players were attracted. They were giving positive press. They were invested. And everybody else that follows these really good players also continued to play the game and invested into the streams and cared. The money incentive. MLG offered an incentive for really good players to keep playing the game.
Right. And I think on top of that, like, it wasn't so much that like the money wouldn't have attracted like the numbers. Like, MLG didn't have insanely great numbers, but it did keep people around. And then, like, if it hadn't been there, I think things like I think at Summer Jam it had like 25 people for Mortal Kombat. I think you would have seen that happening for the second year of Mortal Kombat had MLG not existed. Because people were like, oh, it's just another grassroots major. But then, like, after the first MLG, you hear about how awesome the experience is and stuff like that. And it has a lot to do with the corporate aspect of it because MLG is so, established, I guess. And so on top of that, you hear about it and then you're excited to go to that instead of it just being like another major. It's something different.
Exactly, and plus their venues are excellent. I mean, they're
they're $1 million productions.
Yeah, they are. They honestly, they're the best run tournaments that I've ever been to. Better than Evo. I'm sorry.
MLG Raleigh was the best tournament I've been to, hands down.
They always have setups. They have free, pop. I mean, they're they're like a dream come true, for like any fighting game player. They're just well run.
Yeah, you're not crammed into like a ballroom with like 800 sweaty dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like each game has their own section.
What are you talking about? That's why I go to tournaments.
Yeah. I want to bump into a bunch of VO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, well run, many setups, just very nice venues. Like, it's just, just perfect. That's why people, that's why MLG is important. And I think if the injustice is not present, I can see the game not lasting very long.
And I think not having MLG will hurt Injustice, but not as much as it would have hurt MK.
Right.
I think Injustice has its own ability to keep itself more than MK did.
Hey, talking about like top players, is there any top players out there that you guys watch and you're just like your jaw drops every time you watch these people play? I could tell you 100% the two that I watch that I'm just like every single time I watch them play, I'm just like, I will never be that good ever. Is definitely Sako and PROG and Dominion. Those are the three that I watch that I'm just like, man, insane. Sako, unreal. I don't know.
What about Tom Brady?
Tom is so uninspiring to watch. I mean, all he does is down one trident rush, and you block it and lose 20%, and then he does it again. I don't know.
I probably should do that. I don't, actually.
Yeah.
I don't use trident rush that much. I don't think in this game I'm very inspiring at all. I think the only thing that my draw in MK9 was is that I think I'm the only player that consistently plays top 8, fighting only 7-3 matchups against my favorite. And the only thing that kept me interesting to watch was can this guy overcome every 7-3? That kept you on your edge, and I hope he doesn't so we can blow him up. But I hope he does so we can not blow him up. It was one of those there was always a story there, In this game I play Aquaman, so now I'm a villain because I play a good character.
But Tom, we've already talked about this. And this, like I said, if somebody succeeds, yeah, it's a story, but it's not as much of a story as if somebody fails. I mean, that's always been like that.
I mean, it's funny how Aquaman, in relative to Sub-Zero, is worse off than Sub-Zero is, but Sub-Zero is the ultimate. You only fight Sub-Zero one way, or you lose very quickly. So as bad as he's the only character I know that's really shitty, but limits you a lot. At the same time, it's kind of like only because the Ice Clone is one of the most broken moves in the history of fighting games.
He just didn't have the other stuff to go with it.
Yeah, but the Ice Clone is a broken fucking move. In no other fighting. Yeah.
I feel like Rain was pretty similar. Like, it just you had the roundhouse and then like
nothing else, right?
Yeah. And then like at the same time, when people talked about me and MK9, they're like, "Oh, he's a Rain player. It's awesome to watch him play." And then now you're like, "Oh, he plays Black Adam. Yeah, I'm turning this shit off." It's like it's like
and he just has
instant
else.
The instant people realize that you're playing a good character, it just shuts them off completely to like what they used to think.
Yeah. I don't know. I expect myself to do well at NEC with Aquaman, but I always expect myself to do well. It is frustrating, I guess, using a character better than Sub-Zero and not getting his results as well. But if not this tournament, it's only a matter of time. I'll win another one, probably several more, and have a lot more top 8s. And I'll do the best I can, and, I can care less.
What do you guys think about, and I'm saying this because of my recent placings, and shout-outs to Big E for the tournaments that he's putting on for us because he's leveled his events up every single time I've gone.
No question.
So you can't argue with that. But one thing that I do give him a dirty look about every single time I see him is that Big E, these events that you have several hundred people enter, he's only paying out top 3. Why not give at least top 8? Because top 8 is like the benchmark for our game now. So why not at least give top 8? I would have been happy with my venue feedback. I got nothing for 7th at Summer Jam and then 5th at TFC. Nothing. I didn't get a dime.
Well, that's again another reason MLG.
That's
you know.
tournament. Yeah.
Well, MLG again. Top 8 all get paid. Not only do top 8 get paid, they get a free trip to New York to participate. You know, in like a whatever round robin style, whatever.
Yeah.
So when people ask why is MLG important, I mean that's why. Because it just keeps,
of
you
course.
know.
No, hold on, Smarrgasm. You can go like do something while we're talking about these top 8s for a minute if you want, since
Dang.
you know I made the list. I'm on.
Damn.
So you guys, what do you guys expect? We all know that crazy CD Prime is coming back for Killer Instinct now. Maxter's back in action. CD Junior is making his return to tournaments. Justin Wong is going to be there. What do you guys expect from the Killer Instinct tournament? Who are you guys looking to place top, you know, or win that tournament in particular? With all these guys coming back that have basically been in hiatus for so long.
Well, honestly, I don't know much about the game aside from
Me neither.
from what I talked to you. Honestly, I don't think, you know, I don't mean to discredit anybody, but usually like when the game first comes out, there's glitches and there's all that stuff going on and people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I didn't say anything. But the thing is, like, usually people, like, when people win in a game first, usually it's not really that relevant, you know, like, because, you know, it's
Justin
like the
Wong, he
gimmicks
won
are
the
very. What was that?
He won the belt. In
Justin
the
Wong
record.
is the king of winning. At
Well,
games that
Justin Wong
just
usually
came out.
wins the first, you know, like, you know, when a
He's
new game.
really good at it.
Well, I don't know. Well, like, even like in MK, Justin Wong was winning. Then what
Yeah,
happens?
that's what I'm saying. Like when a game first comes out, you expect Justin Wong to win a tournament
He
at some
wins the
point,
tournament,
right
then,
at the
you know,
beginning.
like 2 months later, he's, you know.
That's because
Gone.
there's nobody better than Justin for sitting down with a game and being able to break down the game's engine. And Tom Brady's actually, and I'm not just saying this because he's here, but that's why Tom is asked to be a part of the development teams of these
Right.
games, because you have these players, and I think Justin Wong is the king that can sit down and just dissect a game and and really understand it, where other people it just takes time.
I'll be back, guys.
All right, man.
Yeah, no problem.
So what do you think about CD Prime? Is it fair to say that guys like Justin Wong and CD Prime are the favorites to win these kind of games? Everyone knows CD Prime is like considered to be the KI guy of the brothers, more so than the other ones.
Well, I'm not really familiar with the scene. Honestly, I don't like. So Killer Instinct. It's not like we had one, you know, like 5 years ago. You know, I mean, how long has it been?
17 years.
17 years. So it's not like the scene is fresh.
Holy
mean-
crap.
Yeah, I mean, 17 years, dude. I mean, that's
Yeah.
insane. So I have no idea who's gonna win. I think because I don't know how good City Junior is. I don't know how, you know. I know you're good, but because you tested the
Let me tell you
game.
something, man. I am dreading entering this tournament, and if I do, I'm thinking about if I get to the grand finals, just forfeiting, just because. Before I win, and the community says "fuck you," I'd much rather say "fuck you" first. You know,
Tom, don't
forfeit
even start with that
finals.
emo shit, man.
No, I'm
No, you want my opinion, and I know that I was vocal about the tester thing. I think you should play it out, but I don't think you should be able to win any money in the first month of the game if you tested it.
There are people. The focus testers are playing in this tournament right now. I mean, they're playing in
Oh.
tournaments. They've been
Well,
playing
like I
longer
said,
than
there's
have.
no Nevada Gaming Commission for
Is people
fighting games.
longer than I have. I just found something that negates their advantage, which allows me to play for a less amount of time, and it just. But you know, basically though, I'm thinking about not entering in general and just doing the commentary for it. I'm letting Justin win and having those guys rub our faces in it. I feel like when myself and Rio went to Civil War, we didn't go there so Rio could win and we can say, "Oh yeah, let's cash in, bitch." We went there because Capcom guys who also tested the game were going to go. I didn't want to go, and I knew they were going to win, and there was going to be, oh yeah, Capcom bitch, hold that shit, you know. So I said, well, you know, that's not fair. The Capcom guys are going to go with an unfair advantage and win, and we, you know, and tell us to hold that shit. We didn't like that, so we went there to stop that. And Rio ended up winning the tournament, beating me, and it just, you know, in this particular game, I thought about entering as well, but I'm really thinking about not entering Killer Instinct and just entering Injustice. And maybe entering Killer Instinct further down the line, just doing like the commentary for it right now. I'm not sure what's going on with MLG as far as either game. I'm pretty sure KI is going to get in, although I'm not sure. I don't think Injustice is. But I think for the first few months of KI...
I think, well, you honestly think, I mean, that game, as it is right now, only has 6 characters, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it only has 6, which is, like I was telling you on the phone, Dave, you know, you would think only 6 characters. The system is very limited. Not everybody can get their hands on it. So early on, you have only 6 characters, and
Exactly.
not that many people even has access to the game. I think the first few months of KI are going to be very difficult for the game's lifespan.
That's what I mean, though. So how can, you know, that scene... I mean, it's just like you said, no system. Some people don't mind even have the game. Some people might need, like you know, people, you can't use the pad. There's no sticks out right now, correct?
Yeah, it's true. I have one. A few people have one, but for the most part, you actually can't get it. You have to have a connection to get a stick.
So that's what I mean, though. Like, it's just, I just don't understand how that game will survive in the long term. I don't, honestly, I don't think it will.
Even Justin Long is playing on a pad. I mean, people are
I
having.
think it's too early.
What was that?
I think it's too early.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To tell.
to like really. Well, it's too early to tell, but it's all. I think it's also a little early to like just go ahead and stick this into like the competitive scene, like in an MLG setting. So like where
Yeah,
MLG
exactly.
is supposed to be like a showing off of like
Well, the
an
first
incredibly
MLG
high
probably
level of.
be until Fulgor is out, so we'd probably have an 8-character roster at that point.
I mean, that's
And-
still not. I mean, that's.
Very true. We are
That's-
expecting a season 2, though. So we're expecting to see Double Helix come out with a season 2. Potentially, if season 1 does well, I don't see why they wouldn't release a season 2. But I think that at least for the first few months of the game, if it gets put in MLG, I'll probably skip NEC and skip, what is that tournament in January? What is it called?
Defend the North.
Defend the North. I'll probably skip that one as well. And if it's in an MLG, I'll probably commentate it. And then after that, I'll probably stop competing in the game. But I look forward to watching guys like Justin and the CD brothers play this game. CD Prime, I know, has been talking for many, many months to me about how he can't wait for KI to come out. He's super excited about KI. So I'm anxious to see these guys. In reality, I actually think that CD Prime will probably win this tournament. And Junior, I could see Junior winning as well. I don't know how familiar Max is with KI, but CD Prime to me is the definitive favorite in this tournament.
But how do you think that the FGC will welcome this game?
I think they'll like it. It's fast-paced, but it has a neutral game at the same time, and they love that. I think this game is stream monster candy, and I don't think this game will be received negatively by the stream.
So you think it's going to last for a little
I
bit?
think this game is stream candy, and I think this game is going to have some big numbers.
All right, that's interesting. I just like, you know, I can't comment because I really like, you know, like just like playing to it because I don't know the game, you know. And the last Killing Instinct that I played was like, you know, 10 years ago. You know, it's been a very long time. So I don't mind. But let me ask you: Can Injustice and Killing Instinct can they coexist?
I actually think that for a long time, myself and Rip had this conversation, and Rip and I both slightly felt that the NRS community was going to be the community that populates this game more so than the other ones. But I think they can survive hand in hand right now it's just so hard to get a game in Injustice because, and no one's ever online, and with, like Theo said, with next gen consoles coming out, that's even going to be even before next gen came out. I mean, have you noticed it was very difficult to get games online back in the old days of MK Dave, Deception, whatever? We could just go online in a room and there's like a million of us there, and we could
Yeah.
find each other, whatever. Now you have to like set appointments for online games, and I think with the next gen consoles and games like KI, more and more people are going to get into it, and it's going to be easier to find games. And I just think it's one of those things where to get a game on Injustice, you got to go and test your might and say, Injustice anyone? And all you got to do is sign into your Xbox Live and get infinite games in KI. And I think for right now, because the game is so new, while rank matches are totally worthless in Injustice, rank matches are very good in KI because it gives you opponents very quickly, and everyone's kind of new at the game, so you're always learning something, whereas you can't do that right now in Injustice.
That's a good, like I know you keep asking that, but I think it all boils down to this is still an MK community, for the most part, and most people still would rather play MK over DC, DC comic characters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact it is very difficult for me to get a game on someone my level in Injustice, which is why when I played Matt, I was like, oh, of course, I want 100 games, of course. When I play somebody good, I want to take advantage of it, and I would play him another 100 games and not think twice about it, because why would you? But it's when you get somebody good in the game, you say, fuck this, I don't want to stop playing. This guy is good. I want to keep playing, and it's enjoyable. Not only do you learn, but you're actually having fun playing the game at the highest possible level. But it is so hard to find players. Dave, look how you and I, we have to like scavenge our way to make appointments to fight other players online. I mean, it's very difficult. Whether I try to get games with you or, Rio who's starting to play again, or like you just can't get those games. Players like Newbie can't find that guy online. And if you did, what do you get? 5 games? 6?
Yeah,
Right?
I want to comment on that whenever you're finished.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
So like, I think there's also a thing where like, and it happened in MK, but I think because this game is still relatively new and the online is a little better, it almost seems like some people are online just looking to headhunt. And that's one of the things that turns me off about online, is that I could be playing online just to play, and then for some reason some guy is just like, hey, challenge me first to 10, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's something about the online community, just it turns people off, I think.
Well, I think this is their idea. Some people play online not to learn. They play you to beat
Right.
you, so they can say, you know what, I've beaten Smarrgasm, and the score was 10-7 or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not there to learn. They're not there to learn the game.
Yeah,
They're there
that's
to
the
brag.
problem.
And like Tom said, you can't really enjoy the game at that point. Because when I play Tom, I know I'm gonna get as many games as I want, and I know
Yeah.
he's gonna get as many games as he wants from me.
Yeah.
So now we're learning. Now we can, we're learning the matches, we're enjoying ourselves. But when you put a number to it, it's just like, it's very different. It's very different then.
Yeah, like I'll play guys like Saltface, infinite amount of games. Deg played me a lot of games. Foxy will play me. Rebella will play you a lot of games. I mean, and but it's just like it's so hard to get. I mean, there are times when I'll be online and I'm going, I can't get a fucking match. Why am I sitting online for 2 hours and I can't get in one fucking game? It's just. And the biggest draw for me to KI is I know I can pop my system in, hook a stream up, go online, play for 2 hours, and never not have a game. And it just, like, look, right now, I've been trying to play Wound Cowboy online for over a month. Now granted, there was a time span when I was working like 20+ hour days on this guide here. But even when I'm home, I can't get this fucking guy in a match. I will go online, I can't find him. And I'm like, why?
Did you
Yeah, I
add him
have him on
though?
Xbox Live, but why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? Why don't other top players want to play other top players? I do not understand.
Well, then
Foxy
maybe
will
that
play me 1,000 games.
I know. Well, then maybe that, as Theo said, Theo, you still there? As he said, he doesn't want to play certain players so they don't download him. So he can.
But WoW's never been that way. WoW and MK9
I know, true,
play
true.
me as
I know,
much as
I know.
possible, and it just feels like there's not a respect thing there amongst most top players. And it's very odd that we finally have a game that's playable online and top players literally, oh, I don't need to play him. I don't need to play him. That's disrespectful to me. I could sit here and say, yeah, I played match 100 games. I got the matchup down. I think I played that match perfectly. But you know what? How do I know that he's not going to adjust and change the match? And I say, whoa, I don't, of course I need to play him. Anytime you're playing another thinking human being at high level, they always have a chance to think outside the box and change the way things are. And then it gives you a chance to say, wow, that changes everything. If I never knew that, I can get blown up, So of course, I still need to keep fighting. I still need to keep playing. There is no matchup and no high-level player that would ever say, I no longer need to play. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous. And I think that makes the game not fun. I want to play. It's a game. It's made to be played. A game becomes not fun when you have to go online for 2 hours and you can't get a fucking match against anybody good. That's the problem. And Dave, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I absolutely do. I don't know. I can't give you an answer. I don't know why some people do that. Why it's like that. I have no
But it's
idea,
hard to
honestly.
get. Have you not noticed it's very hard to get games?
No, it is. It is. And usually when you get the games, it's against the same people.
It's very difficult. And
Yeah.
the draw right now to KI is you can go online, play for 2 to 3 hours, and never go 1 minute without playing somebody. I think that's a big draw to the game right now. Plus, it's new. It's on a new console. It's just got everything moving full steam ahead right now.
True. So you guys want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right. Since probably Pig is playing, let me do the, outro. So guys, thanks for listening. This was episode 11 with Tom Brady playing to win, Smarrgasm, Pig, Theo, and M2 Dave. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully, we'll see Rio back. We can hear from him. All right, thank you, and see you next time.
Pig is still recording.
I know. Let's just exit so it stopped. So let's just exit. All exit the call. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.